don't look like she's staying.
Help him straight up. Help him
Stay when he's down and, till he gets up.
I'm about to get influenced.
Yeah. You will. Or you're not gonna stay when he down. You're not even gonna choose him if he down.
It's always best to choose them while they.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, ladies. The question is, if a man is actually broke when you meet him.
The question more
So
complicated.
listen to this, ladies. It's
simple.
actually, maybe this may change your answer. A fortune teller gives you, and it's gonna be true. When you meet Brian, or whatever name you think of a guy that you like, right? When you meet this guy, he's gonna be broke.
Okay.
But he will get rich. He will be a millionaire. Are you gonna date Brian and really give him a chance and stay until he becomes a millionaire?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna help him out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna step up too. And help him out.
What do you need?
Yeah, it could take 10 years.
What do you need from me? What do you need from me to help you get there?
Yes, I agree. See, y'all was taking the words right out of my mouth.
We got Yo Boy Ladies is a $5. Cooley, watch this. Question to the females. If your box disappeared, meaning your vagina disappeared, are you still useful to your man outside of sex? BJ and Brown Hole. So blowjob. Oh, look, y'all, yo, chat, they just said blowjob. He's saying blowjob and the brown hole are not the answer. So you can't give them head and you can't, no anal.
Cook. Clean.
Okay, cook clean. What about you, Rumor? What you doing?
Take care. Massage.
I'd say loyalty, I guess.
Loyalty, okay. Well, you got no choice to be loyal. Got no box.
I could,
How you gonna keep your men? How are you gonna be useful to your men?
I don't know.
So this is the question that I asked you when I said, how do you add value outside of sex? And we kind of stopped going out of that. So this is that same question, but in a different way.
Oh, that's crazy because
Yeah.
that would have been my answer.
Okay, let's go around with this one. Okay, so how would you add value outside of sex? How would you be useful to your man if you can't have sex?
I'm gonna stick by his side. If he ever need anything, I got you, bro.
I like what? Explain.
All right.
What you gonna do?
So, if I'm working, he working, but he don't got the money for it, I got you. If he needs help with the bills, I got you. If he wants me to, I'm gonna clean, of course. Cook, clean, take care of him, live a happy life.
What if?
Not everything's about sex.
What if he assumes that you somewhere when you really wasn't? How you gonna act?
I'm gonna still stick by his side.
You gonna give an attitude though?
Oh, I'm gonna have my little attitude, but I ain't gonna show it. I'm gonna just be like, you know what? I'm gonna let you have that.
Okay. What about you, Marissa?
I would, cook, clean. I keep a great house, I do say. And I think in the beginning I said I grow my own vegetables.
Oh, yeah, that's
So,
fire.
yeah,
That's
oh my God, I would
fire.
love to. Yeah.
Fresh fruit.
Yeah, no.
Fresh veggies.
Fruits are harder just because we're not in a tropical climate,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah,
vegetables
true.
are a lot a lot easier. I have.
You probably know Vistaprint for business cards, but did you know we print everything you need to get your brand in front of your fans? We print banners and signs that help your business stand out. We print postcards and flyers that get people talking. And
Big boy tomatoes. I have heirloom tomatoes. I have cherry tomatoes. I have red peppers. I have yellow peppers. Yes, I do. I have everything.
What else you got? You got onions? What you got? Potatoes?
I don't have potatoes. I do have romaine lettuce.
Got thyme?
I do have thyme. I have mint and basil.
Cilantro?
You'd be surprised now.
You got
I don't
cilantro?
think I have
Potatoes
that.
is a vegetable.
Potatoes are a vegetable?
No, I heard tomatoes were fruit.
Yeah, it is a starch.
No, tomato is a fruit. Potato is a vegetable.
Potatoes is a
Yeah,
vegetable?
potato is a vegetable, yes.
It's starch.
Yeah, potato is a vegetable.
Really? Wow, I feel so dumb right now.
We learn something new every day.
Okay. All right, good answer. What about you, Pink?
I would say someone they could confide in and being authentic.
We already know we can't confide in y'all. Y'all gonna throw it in our face. Choose another one.
Choose another one.
But what?
We can't confide in you.
Wait,
Okay,
did
so
you
this
say-
is me.
but the question
This is a
was-
man. The question is this: how are you going to be useful to your man if you cannot have sex with your man? If your
But that's my
vagina.
man, so if he can confide in me and that's my man, he's comfortable with that, then and that's something that's rare. So wouldn't
Okay,
that work?
well, Ease is saying that a man can confide in you, but is up until you have an attitude and then
So
you
we're just
use
gonna
that
chalk
against
that.
them.
We're just gonna chalk that.
Chuck that, yeah.
Okay, guys.
Anything else, or you want to move
I
to
would
the next
say
person?
being authentic, because I don't think guys like being boring since y'all are so simple. So
Being authentic.
yeah,
What
like
the hell
you
does
know
that
those
mean?
girls that always want to just like a pick me girl. She's
We
not even
like
being
pick-me's.
herself.
That's what y'all gotta stop dishing these pick me girls because these
No,
pick,
I've heard different
Listen,
from
these
guys.
pick me girls are the
Listen
ones
to
that
what
get
you just
married.
said. You said that pick-me girls don't even like themselves. Y'all don't like yourself, period. Y'all wear makeup because y'all don't like yourself. Y'all wear waist trainers and stuff because y'all don't like yourself.
BBLs.
Y'all do a lot. Y'all put on eyelashes because you don't like yourself. Y'all do a lot of
don't
things. So
think y'all
women, and
getting what I'm
listen.
saying.
Women in general don't really like themselves. So forget about the whole liking yourself. What we're asking you is, what are you going to do to be useful to your man if you cannot have sex with your man?
I'm gonna say not
You
be
talking about
boring. Let's put it in a different way, not be boring.
I just want to
How are
say
you not
that
gonna be boring?
That pick me girl, she's married to Justin Bieber. She's one of them.
That pick me girl was plotting on Justin Bieber
I'm
for
not
10
saying pick me
fucking
women
years.
don't get men.
She
But I'm
plotting
just
on
saying.
that man for 10 years.
Okay,
Guess
listen,
what happened
listen.
to the other one?
Ladies.
Didn't get him.
No, she's like the pick me girls.
Pick me
be the
girls
ones.
are the
That's
type of
ones
girls that
niggas
men
really
we want.
want and like.
No,
A
I've
man,
heard
you
men
guys,
say different things.
you guys want a man to lead, and pick me girls have no problem letting a man lead. That's why we choose those
And
pick me girls.
Exactly. And what I'm saying here is, since you don't like yourself, you might as well like the man. Pick him.
Lord, things getting a little misconstrued.
Look, even if it isn't real, pick me. You ain't real anyway. You might as well act like you want the. You might as well act like you want the man to pick
instead
you.
of me being a pick me, I would have picked the man. All right.
So
Try to pick the
to
man.
ask the question again,
They're like, I hate this nigga.
No, I'd rather pick the man though.
so to ask the
enough.
question again, if you couldn't have sex with your man anymore because you don't have a vagina,
What you gonna do?
what are you gonna do?
How you gonna be useful?
How you gonna be useful to his life? How you gonna add value?
Yo,
What would you do for your man if you couldn't have sex with him anymore?
I would be like the girl from Gone Girl.
We don't know that. Tell us what that girl is like.
Oh, she just started doing a bunch of crazy ass shit just to make his life spiced up.
think guys like that?
Crazy ass stuff like what?
Some guys.
I don't know what she's talking about.
No.
Crazy ass stuff like
Bro,
what?
we gonna move on. I don't know what you didn't give a good answer to. It's
We don't
okay.
like crazy women.
I want to know what you're gonna do. So
guys
how
do
would
like that, yeah.
what's your name again? Sophie. How would you be useful to your man if your vagina was not operational?
I would support him and reassure him. Good
He
answer.
learned from us when she said reassure.
Good answer.
Support him.
You was listening.
I know her personally.
All
She
right.
would have been picked at.
You was quiet, that's why. So you was like, yeah, let me give a good answer. Yeah.
I be thinking.
All right, that's because women are more logical, right?
I'm more logical.
Okay.
Yes.
What you gonna be useful? How would you be useful to your man if you can't use your box?
Cook and clean.
Is that?
All right.
Cook and clean and
That's gonna get boring.
Can't give him a blowjob.
Can't get blowjob.
No,
You
sucking
can't do
blowjob.
anything sexual.
just said you
Ladies, life is more than just sex, you know.
Oh, we know.
And
Okay.
since I don't have a vagina, I can get a medical check off of that. So he can take care of me.
All right. And what about you?
I don't even know. Like, it's just,
She is free.
Like,
it's just, it's so many.
How would you be useful to your man?
You're hilarious. I love you.
Oh man. How would I be useful? I don't know. I feel like I would be useful in the same way I would be, just being a nurturer and everything that I'm supposed to be doing. Like,
Period.
I don't have
he
to
wants to
fuck
be
you for
Superman
you
or
to keep
something?
you.
Like,
I mean,
We can only
shit,
do a
he
bar
fuck
minute.
around wants you to be Spider-Man.
Okay. All right. Well, that's telling, ladies. Let's go to the next one. And you know what? I ain't telling y'all how to be useful to your man. Figure it out. Where are we at? Okay, we got Little Ba sends in $20. Appreciate the support.
Little Ba.
Yeah, he says, great conversation tonight as usual. These ladies seem intelligent, and despite some choices they may have made, they seem open-minded and therefore might have the potential to be wife material if they're not already. All right.
That's such a
Oh,
nice comment.
Okay, y'all get.
Does your sunscreen go as hard as you do? New Neutrogena Sport Sunscreen. Non-greasy formula that
All right.
Most of y'all are cooked. Forget what he said.
We got word unboxings and $5 at Fugazi. He didn't answer her about it because he knew if he answered, she wouldn't like it. And she stopped acting like a girlfriend.
I was gonna say
What's
that.
this?
I was gonna say, why are y'all doing girlfriend stuff for people who are not giving y'all the girlfriend title? I was gonna say that earlier in that conversation, but I left it be.
Well,
No,
the thing is,
that is
well,
true.
stop it,
That is
ladies.
true.
Well,
I just
the,
let
here it is. Here's the truth.
What?
You said, why would you do girlfriend stuff if the man isn't, if you're not girlfriend material?
No, like
Wait.
if he hasn't given you that title,
That energy.
Okay,
why
so,
would
got
you?
it.
Or
So
if he's not giving you that energy, why are you reciprocating?
look, because
or trying
life
to
is a
give him that?
competition.
What
If
do
you
mean by
don't give
that?
it, look. Say I'm talking to all 6 of y'all, hypothetically, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking to all 6 of y'all. We
you're a man,
DMing, I'm DMing, yeah, just hypothetically.
it's in your nature.
Niggas spinning plates, right?
No.
And
Like that.
let's say if she's not giving wifey material stuff, you're not giving wifey material stuff. You're just here for the vibes. You over here want me to go to the club with you all the time, throw some ones. You over here, you just like, oh, come to my family barbecue. I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. Marissa, she over here actually trying to give some wifey vibes. And then we got you over here.
I'm not
Getting
a part of it.
annoyed
I'm
because
not a
you're
part of it
assuming.
at all.
Getting annoyed because
not
I'm
a part of
assuming
it
stuff,
at
right?
all. If you're talking to other girls, let me know so I can.
Ladies, this is a reality
That's the
too.
problem
What
right
I'm
there.
saying is most attractive men are talking to many women. And guess what? The one that he gives the relationship to, she won the race.
That's why I'm gay.
She won out of, okay, it's not like you. So when you're speaking to a man, you're only speaking to one man. That's a lie. You're speaking to multiple men.
No, I'm speaking to one man. I'm speaking to one man.
Yeah, let me see your phone.
Not gonna lie, there's
At least
no
look,
there's
real.
no way
They just keep it real.
Look,
listen.
We're only talking to one guy.
This is the only man I talk to. This is the only man I talk to.
Let me see. Let me see your, no. Let me see your DMs. No, okay. That's the man you talking to. Now let me see your
It's
DMs.
the only man.
Okay,
I talk
fine. Let me see your DMs.
Show him your Snapchat.
Oh, she's snitching on you.
Let's go to the call log. No, my Snapchat. She knows what the Snapchat is.
Yeah.
She do the same thing.
Look, listen,
She do the
ladies,
same thing for the Snapchat.
ladies, whether you guys like it or not, let's say you find a man attractive, he checks the majority of your boxes.
It's a competition,
But-
ladies.
Yeah, you're competing for him. So
Why though?
I don't like
Is that in our nature?
Men are competing for you. You got options.
You gotta
So
take
listen,
that.
listen,
No, but
Listen.
everyone is competing.
Women, like straight up.
listen.
The thing is, men are okay with understanding the reality that we are in competition with one another. But you ladies think that you're special and that you're not in competition with no one. That's a lie.
We
You
are
are
in
in
competition.
Listen, you are in competition with her, and all of these ladies at the table with a multitude of things currently right now with the chat that's watching. It can be guys in a chat. It's hundreds of people watching right now. Over 500 people. After this is going to get thousands of views, right? There can be a man that is like, oh, okay, can be a good man, a traditional man like you want, or a man with some income or whatever y'all women's preferences are. And you're going to be like, nope. Yes, she meets my requirements. I want this one. So guess what? You lost the competition, and that could have been a man that met your preferences.
Right.
So you are in competition.
So when you're talking to a guy that's your type, he checks the majority of
Yeah,
your boxes. He doesn't know you. So during the courting process, he's getting to know you to see how you are. So ideally, it's smart for you to show him what kind of girlfriend or wife you would be.
You can be.
Because you got to understand, like, if he has options, well, the saying, well, one person won't do, the next one will. So if I'm talking to all of you ladies, right, and you don't want to cook for me, but she always offers to cook for me, or I always pay for the date, but Sophie doesn't mind picking up the check here and there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to choose the woman who shows appreciation, who's going to pick up the check here and there, who's going to offer to cook for me, where you're over there just being stingy. You don't want to,
Yeah.
make me feel appreciated,
No, I
I'm
agree.
not going to choose you
Right.
because I know that tells
Right.
me that if I choose to make you my girlfriend,
Right.
you're not going to do any of those things. So I'm going to go for the girl that will do those things because
Reciprocation.
she showed me during the courting
Reciprocation.
process what kind of a girlfriend/wife she'll be.
Wait, so what happens when, like, once you make that title, give her that title, and everything stops? What happens then? What if she was just trying to secure the spot?
I'm not okay. Now, what I'm about to say is, I'm not saying that cheating is right, but that's why men be cheating because y'all don't be doing the things y'all did to get the
So
man
bad.
that y'all
Listen,
get
if
into a
she's
relationship.
true, if she stopped doing it, don't matter what reason it's for. The man, if he's a man of value and he understands his value and he has high standards, he's kicking her back to the curb.
Now, sometimes this is the man's fault. If a man, if y'all got into a relationship and she stopped doing the things she did before she was with you, you probably did something along the lines of,
I know, I should have announced myself. Eugene Levy, I'm your sleep daddy.
you probably did something that turned her off. That made her be like, I don't want to do this for him anymore. He's not worth it. He's not the guy I thought he was. Sometimes us guys, we be messing up. You know what I'm saying? Like we get too comfortable. We get too
At
complacent.
least you guys admit it.
We get
Yeah.
too comfortable. We get too complacent, and
Do you guys get too comfortable within the position of the relationship? Do you guys think that men get too comfortable or women?
Some guys think that once they got the girl in the relationship, that they don't have to do what they did to get her in the beginning.
Yeah, it's different. And well, he's speaking facts, but another way to explain it, when women get into a relationship for a man, she should change for her man. She should acquiesce her behaviors and change for her man to keep her man, right? When a man gets with a woman, however the man got the woman, don't change. You got her for a reason, bro. Guys like to get complacent, like E said. They get lazy and they start to get comfortable, meaning that, oh, I'm having sex with her, we doing things, and we in a relationship now, so I'm not gonna take her out on dates. We're in a relationship now, so I'm not gonna do the things that I was doing before how I got her. And sometimes that's how you'll lose your chick. Right, because
Right.
statistics shows that women get bored faster than men in relationships.
Yeah.
So if women get bored faster, that means that men have to, do the things that they were doing to attract a woman because that's how they retain the woman.
I
Men,
agree
we
with you.
won't really get bored in a
agree.
relationship. So when that relationship is going on, it's like, you got to change and acquiesce your behaviors to the man because the man is leading. So, all right, let's move it on. And ladies, if you have any questions at the end, because we're gonna go ahead and wrap up soon.
No, I agree with you though.
Okay, because I see some yawns and stuff like that.
No,
And
I know, but I'm hungry too, so it's like
okay, got you.
We're all hungry.
Got you.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
so
all-
let's we got B's license and $10. Be honest. Why do you think so many women are single today? By choice or because they don't they do not qualify? Okay. Show of hands if you think that women are single by choice.
Hey, I got news for you guys. When women say they're single, that means that they don't have a one particular guy that they're seeing on a regular basis. They have multiple guys. That's why they use that single screen so that they could go out there and be the 3 or 4 that they are. Just a little womanese there.
2. So the rest, you think that women are single because they don't qualify. All right, there we go. We got word unboxes and $5. She introduced herself. Hi, I was raised as a Muslim. Fugazi. Fugazi chat. All right. Bro, her whole booty is out on on her Instagram, Fugazi, now the bad guy. Okay, I see what you're saying. Freaking.
What are you saying? I'm so confused.
Okay, so I'll read it again. He's basically saying you introduced yourself as a Muslim.
Oh.
Yes, because I was born
That's
and I am a
that's
Muslim
physical
woman.
abuse.
It was on.
If I would have did that, if I would have did that, you could have like.
Flying around. It's
Look,
so
if I would have did that, you could have me too'd me.
Chat, call the cops.
Wait, did we not talk about this? This is like the first conversation about like calling like the cops. Like
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traditional.
Chat, call the cops. I've been assaulted.
Been assaulted.
crazy. Yo,
Okay,
that was
so
so
what?
annoying. It's just flying around.
No, it really
like,
What he's
was.
saying is this. You introduced yourself as a Muslim. You said, I quote, I was raised Muslim.
Yes.
He says, bro, her whole booty is out on her Instagram. Talking about you, your whole cheeks is out on your Instagram. Then he says, but Fugazi is the bad guy. So how am I the bad guy when
You're
your whole
not the
booty
bad
cheeks is
guy.
out?
I never told you were the bad guy.
Oh, no, I guess he's saying, how is he the bad guy?
I mean,
you giving them something to look at. You can't,
yeah,
you can't even say nothing about
I can't say.
How do you find your Instagram? You shouted it out?
I was going to say, for
Yeah.
starters,
Oh, okay.
say hello to your fan, because how do you know her Instagram?
Oh, I mean, you must have shouted it out.
Bro.
Yeah.
Look, the
Seriously, follow me if you're interested.
The internet is undefeated.
Yeah, it really is undefeated, man.
Yeah,
easy
they'll
to
find you
find
quick.
people.
There's no.
They'll screenshot a picture of you here, go ahead and do a Google
bro,
reverse
how'd you
search
find
and
my
pick you
Instagram?
up.
Did I say it or something? Like, I'm so
Oh,
confused.
no, actually you did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think you did.
When you were telling him about your name and stuff, you definitely
Yeah, you did say it. We got Great Win says in $5. Would any of the ladies respect seriously date a marry? Okay, would any of, because sometimes they just write it wrong.
Yeah, I don't
Would
like
any
that.
of the ladies respect seriously date or marry a man who plays for both teams? Okay.
What does
Would you
that
ever
mean?
date
I
or
would.
marry a gay dude?
I would.
That's a lot of their marriage. That's a real thing.
This is the reason why if you're a man and you're bisexual, what's up? Because hey, I'm
Ain't
fine with
nothing
it.
wrong.
I'm
You know
bisexual.
that.
I support
okay,
the community.
But the bisexual between a man and a woman is different because both are immoral. But one, the bisexual man, they're having anal sex, and in the anal is feces, and in the feces is parasites. So the likelihood of sexual transmitted diseases passes faster and is transmitted faster through the anal canal, which means that AIDS, HIV, and all
I
of that
know
other
that
stuff,
know that
they be
already.
having it. The probability is much higher in the gay community to have those type of crazy serious diseases.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
I already know that. And
So
men,
you'll marry a gay dude?
They do get that checked
You'll
out.
marry a dude that was bent over getting penetrated up the hind cheeks.
So who do
How can he leave you? Wait, time out. Let me ask you a question.
First of all,
Go ahead.
I'm fine with dating a bi man
Okay.
because one, we're together, so you're not doing that. If you want to go and do that, let me know so I can just walk away because I'm
Time
not
out.
trying to get nothing. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Plus,
For years I've been searching it, and finally I found it.
Be a parking lot?
Was that a bear?
No, I think that's Shania Twain.
No, that's not a bear. Shania Twain was there. She's actually kind of freakishly fast. Like a moose. She stole the wild cherry, the mountain blackberry, cause no one told her that they were back. Clearly Canadians back.
Still the one.
There's absolutely no reason to steal it from hikers.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms ready for many. From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems. Everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
they have the best conversations ever. You can have tea and they be like, yes, girl. Like,
You don't
come
even
on.
care about conversations. You care about
Yes, I
attitude. You care about the attitude in the conversation.
I'm the one that has the attitude.
Okay.
I'm
so
Puerto Rican.
let me ask you a
It's
question.
automatic.
Do you want a man that's a leader?
Yes.
Gay dudes don't lead nothing.
How is he?
But they-
I was gonna say, how can he
They don't
be a
lead
leader
nothing but
if
their
he-
own boat.
You can be bi and still be a leader. My brother, he's bi.
So
and
you
he's
gonna
still
lead a
leader.
man that's
How
bent
can you?
over on
How
the
can
bed?
you lead? How can a man be a leader if he's submitted to another man?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Not every man submits to another man.
Dan, be
though.
active. How can a gay man be a leader if he submits to another man? He does submit to another man. He's gay. He got penetrated.
Not every man.
I was about to
gets
say,
it from
what
the
if he's
back,
the
though.
one
He's
doing
the
the
one.
bending?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, even better. Look, watch this. The man, even if he's not the one that's being dominated, if he's the one dominating someone else, this means that he adopted the same attraction triggers of a woman. So he's not even a woman he's not even a man mentally. He's a woman mentally, because who are you attracted? Who are heterosexual women attracted to? Men.
Of
Right?
course.
Who are heterosexual men attracted to? Women. So if the man is attracted to a man, he adopted the woman's nature. He's not a man. He's not a true leader.
That's prime example. She literally just said she wants
Wait,
to get
what?
all
Go
the
ahead.
tea in the conversation and stuff like that. That's women traits. Men don't sit around and gossip. Women do. So that's
Exactly.
traits you picked up from being a woman.
Rumor is spitting. He said that. Listen to what she just said. I'll repeat it back to you. What she say then?
I don't remember.
Because you
I
wasn't
can't say it from
listening.
word for word.
Let me repeat it back.
Yeah.
Remember, you just said that you want a man that's good in communication, and you said that gay guys are good communicators. Rumor just said that, well, that's a woman trait, because a man that's wants to communicate like a woman, this would be a man that adopted characteristic traits of a woman, just like he's attracted to a man. What are women attracted to? A man. He adopted all the characteristic traits of a woman. How can this man lead you if he's not really a man? He's a woman.
When you're in a relationship with a
Mentally.
girl, when you're in a relationship with a girl, right? Are you who's the masculine one? You?
That's the problem.
You
You're
seem
masculine.
masculine
That's the
one.
problem.
Yeah, you seem
Yeah,
dominant.
that's why she want a gay dude.
You the one that got the
because my
strap on? You got the strappy?
Yup. See,
I'm the
Shorty got the. She just admitted it.
Shorty got the strappy.
But my dad,
Shorty got the
I
strappy.
can tell, and I can tell.
it's hard. Even when I'm in a relationship with a man,
I don't give a fuck.
I'm masculine at some point. I can't
And
help
that's
it.
why you want a bisexual dude and not a straight heterosexual male.
Yeah.
I have to
So
have
then wait,
the man
that
to
takes me
out
back.
at some
That
point.
just takes me back to what we were talking about earlier. You can't, if you want, if
can't
that's
be
something
feminine
that
the
you
whole
would be
time.
okay
I
with
can't do that.
and you want, then you don't want a strong man to give you a soft life, because those don't equal
That
up.
don't equal.
But the way I was raised
catch,
and
Romer.
stuff, my mom, she's more masculine than feminine. I never had a dad. There's females.
That explains a lot.
Every female in our family is masculine as hell. So I can't help the fact that if my masculinity comes out, okay, it comes out. I still feminine here and there, but I'm more masculine.
See?
Them guys just have everything.
And that explains, and that's why chat is important for a woman to have a father in the life.
I mean, I
had
had
a dad in my life, but now
I
I
didn't
was
have
growing
my
up.
dad in my life. I feel like I got a pretty good head on
I
my
feel like
shoulders.
if my dad was in my life, things would be so much different. No.
That is true. If
My
your
dad
dad.
If I had my dad in my life, it would be so
So,
much different.
and
If
think
you
about
watching
this.
dad, fuck you.
Think about this, right? Now think about what you said. You said that if you had your dad in your life life would be much different. Was your dad a homosexual?
I don't know what he was. I never met him.
Okay. All right. Then you never met the nigga. All right. Well,
My dad is not, that, what you said.
he's not homosexual.
Whoa, that wouldn't even apply to you. Your dad was Muslim. You
Yeah,
grew up
that's
in-
what I'm
but
saying.
Yeah, that
that's
wouldn't apply.
forbidden
And he
over
died
there.
like
So
yesterday.
that wouldn't even apply.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, but
I was gonna say something, but never mind. All right, let's move it on. We got BJ says in $5. This is one of the best groups Cooley has brought on the podcast. Not gonna lie. He says, civil conversation and the women aren't stubborn.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm stubborn as hell. I'm letting y'all know that now. I'm a Taurus.
see, I'm not stubborn, man.
I'm open-minded.
I'm open-minded. Like, I'm willing to listen to men. Like, I'm
stubborn when it
I'm
comes to
listening to
food.
y'all's point of view. Y'all pick up my
Even
brain.
if I don't
Word,
agree,
word.
I'ma listen.
I mean,
Yeah,
y'all got,
like,
y'all got a lot of earth signs on this panel too.
Yeah.
Earth signs
And
are
I'm a
very
fire
grounded.
sign.
Yes. Open-minded.
Not this.
Like to learn new
I mean,
things.
I was patting my head. It was, fresh braids.
Period.
See?
Wait, wasn't you making jokes on my cut earlier?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
talking about the cut, not your braids. Your braids looking okay. But your cut, you need to get.
The taper is taping. What you talking
No,
about?
it looks nice though.
Yeah,
A little lopsided, but
what you talking about? Look, the line is perfect, shorty. It's the braids. What you looking at? You.
I like the braids.
Okay.
the braids are crisp. I don't know about the cut.
Yeah.
Is there a funny comment on the super chat?
There's probably some.
Yeah, we got a lot. Just keep it.
Yeah, we got a lot.
Because I feel like I'm getting cooked. I ain't
Nah,
Yeah, you were getting cooked. They just didn't send the money in, but I was reading
I
them
ain't gonna
though.
lie. The
Yeah, they
moment
come
you
in.
knew
Chat, I
that
was
you
reading the
was
comments,
Muslim out
chat.
there, it was Rapskis for
You know, I
everything.
love the comment
I'm
section.
getting cooked.
Shout out to the live chat. Appreciate y'all.
Shout out to the live chat. Shout out to the live chat.
Y'all.
They love rumor though.
I love Ruma too. That's my girl.
I love y'all too. Y'all know I love y'all.
Shout out to the Chizat.
Okay, we got.
I might be a rumor at the end of this podcast, you know.
Wait, what'd you say?
I might be like her at the end of this podcast, you know. So
Hey, you never
when I
know.
come back,
You never know. You coming back?
Yeah, I'm
we'll get
coming
to that.
back.
We'll get to that. We got. Okay, we're okay. We got Brandon Upchurch sends $5. Would a traditional woman have to be told to change her clothes, tight pants, butt out, or wouldn't she already come in the situation correctly?
yeah, she would come in.
Yeah, he said that when we was talking about.
Oh yeah, that's when we was talking about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Nicorette, I'm finally quitting for real, refusing to give in, because real freedom is worth it. With Nicorette, you're up to 5 times more likely to quit. Nicorette, quitting made real.
We got word on boxes of $5. I'm an ex-Muslim woman. I did not run away to Jesus at 17. I did not. Oh, okay. No, she's not saying that. She says, I'm an ex-Muslim woman. I did run away to Jesus at 17.
Okay.
I got disowned for that. That's a reason to rebel, to run to a Lord you understand. Okay, fair enough.
Everyone has their own reasons.
I have like an opinion on that, sis, because you're an ex-Muslim. You ran to Jesus when you was younger, yeah, but I didn't do that. I'm still with the same God to this day. So that's on you.
I think she was more so kind of agreeing, saying that like certain things do make you rebel.
Rebel, like you can rebel and you can rebel for the right reason.
Thank you for correcting me. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm sorry to hear that you had to get disowned by that, but you know.
Yeah, she was saying that you can rebel for the right reasons, basically. Like she rebelled for what she deems as a better reason.
To my parents' eyes, I didn't. Though, I didn't rebel for the right reasons in my parents' eyes.
Well, yeah, they're Muslim. All right, we got a Yo Boy Liam says in $2. Everybody spam W Cooley. W Cooley in the chat.
W Cooley.
Let me get the W Coolies in the chat.
W Cooley.
We got Yo Boy Liam again says in $5. Cooley, did you notice that they never answered? I'll get another girl for my husband since I don't have any vagina, or if I don't, because I don't have any hoes. Shows you how narcissistic women are.
Oh, well, I just thought like every female didn't have
Let me
that,
go ahead, East. You got it.
Can y'all explain that to me?
He said that when we asked you, ladies, if you didn't have a vagina, how would you
keep your man? How would you be useful
to your man? And he's saying that none of you ladies said I would get him another girl for him to have sex with.
Because you're so selfish.
Standards, though? Well, no, I just assumed that like you guys were saying like just females in general. I didn't know you meant like
okay,
just us.
so
and other females have
would you
one.
ladies bring another woman in for your man to have sex with if you couldn't have sex with him anymore?
Absolutely.
You would? What about you?
If I could have sex with them too, yeah.
No, you don't have a vagina. You can't.
You can't do anything.
Can't do nothing.
No, then no.
You wouldn't?
So you would let
No.
your man just suffer like that?
He can have a pocket pussy.
Yeah,
What?
he can have a pocket pussy,
What
but
about
not
you?
real pussy, bro.
Over here, what would you do?
Come on, rumor.
I just don't think that's part of my standard.
Oh my God.
It's not part of your standards. What about you, Marissa? No. What about you?
Y'all are greedy.
No, but
It's
because that's my
selfish.
so a pocket pussy and a real pussy ain't the same thing.
So wait,
I wouldn't.
that means that if the dude didn't have a penis, then
that means
he would
can
find a man for me to have some penis.
Is that a difference?
Exactly.
It's not about us, man. We asking y'all.
No, is that a difference though? Huh? No, he's looking at us like, what the hell are we talking about? No.
Yeah, ladies, Let's just get to the next super chat. We got
I don't know about that one, Chief.
we got Devin Lee sends in $10. What I miss was grilling. Okay.
Grilling.
Whoever this person
Meaning
is.
scolding.
Yeah. We got my question was read wrong. Fortune teller tells your man will go from millionaire to broke in 2 years. Will you stay or leave?
Stay. I'm gonna stay.
If you went from millionaire to broke.
Millionaire to broke.
I'm gonna stay because
Yes.
you telling me that I now know that he's going to eventually be broke. So in the back of my head, I'm gonna have a game plan for when you do be broke. So
You
now
gonna have a game plan to leave him?
No, my game plan
No,
is going
it's
to
to
have a
stay.
stash
But if
so we
that's
can
my
get you
husband,
back
why
to
would
where
I
you
leave
were.
them?
Why would I leave you? I'm
I
about
like
to
that
build
answer.
you back up so
Alright.
you can get
Why
back
y'all
to where
Okay,
you were.
Romer, good
money.
answer. What about who else? Y'all all gonna stay?
Because we care.
If he's going from if he's going from a millionaire to
She don't
broke.
get it.
I'm not marrying a man for money, so
I don't
that's
care
just
for
a
the
plus
money.
You
to
not
me.
staying.
I don't care for the money.
She's
I make
definitely
my
not
own money.
staying.
I can
No,
care
I'm
less.
staying.
She
I'm
ain't
talking
staying.
about.
No, she definitely not staying.
She's not
Yes, the
staying.
hell I, first of all, yes, the hell I am.
You not
I don't
staying.
feel like you're staying.
She gonna
Nah,
leave him for
I
a
feel
gay
like she
man.
would stay. I know.
Wait,
She gonna leave him for a gay man.
I'm gonna stay. I don't care. Because if you end up broke,
Nah,
that got
she
nothing to do
would
with
stay,
me. Because
yeah.
I'm making money, so
Okay.
we're not gonna be broke.
Who would you give the money
We
to?
might have the best answer.
Would you give the money to the
Wait,
man?
pause. Y'all in a relationship. Y'all are together. How is him going broke have nothing to do with you? Y'all are together. Y'all
No,
are
I think
partners.
it does. have
Y'all
something
live
to do with
together.
it, Yeah.
Yeah,
What if they got a whole mansion and he's
He's
about to go
rich,
broke?
right? He's rich going to broke. Me, I have my own personal money. And when
Give it
that
to
day
him.
happens, my personal money becomes our personal money.
Yes.
So that means we're
Has
not gonna
that ever
end up
happened
broke.
in any of your other
It
relationships?
actually did happen.
And
It
where
actually
he
did
at,
happen.
where he
It
at
actually
now?
did
Where he
happen.
at now?
We're not together.
Exactly. Because
Where was your personal money at? Where
We
was your
have a
personal
reason.
money at?
My personal money was going to my rent.
I thought you said it was going to your man.
Oh my God! I literally just it
No,
happened.
she said.
It happened at the time I was
Okay.
living with my mom. She was in a wheelchair. We ain't
Shout
have,
outs to moms.
I had no choice but the money that I was going to give it to her for rent so we can have a roof over our heads.
Fair
I
enough.
had to
Fair.
make a
You don't gotta
sacrifice.
explain too much. We get it. We get it.
With high protein and crunchy granola clusters from Vector, be ready for sports.
W rumor. Okay. W rumor.
Yeah,
Okay.
W rumor. W rumor. I love rumor. Stop playing with her.
Okay, we got word unboxes and $5. Call me he one more time when you read out my comments. I'm going to come be a guest on the show and give you all the smoke. Word unbox. Oh yeah, you said you're a woman. You know what? He said that. So yeah, come on the podcast because I want all the smoke. I'm Cooley. What do you mean?
Let's keep the smoke.
We got I appreciate the support though. We got Devin Leases and $10. You know I don't cuss, but dang, I'm late. What's up, fellas? And the ladies tired, yawning, and but did I miss a funny podcast? This was a good show, man.
This was a good
Yeah,
podcast.
it was a good
I
show.
like this. I enjoyed
I
it.
loved how we pick each other's
the vibes.
Because
and
I explained the
everything.
rules to y'all. You know what? Because I didn't explain the rules to other women in the panel the way I did it to y'all, and I'm gonna start doing that.
No, what? If you
That's
didn't do it,
cap.
then Dan or Steve did it, or I did it.
No, I added
What?
No, I added. No, what I added was don't take shit personal.
We always say that.
I do.
Yeah.
Forget, I must be tired.
And also, you was on here when we first started. I always said that.
just be waiting for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
my
did
bad.
talk about it.
My bad, chat. My bad. My bad. My
He thought
bad.
he was doing something, y'all.
I did. My fault. My fault.
He thought he
My
was doing
fault.
something.
My fault. My fault. No, I wasn't saying that. Whatever. Yeah. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. Y'all got it.
We got BG sends in $2. Rumor is a good mediator. She developed a lot. Look at that, Rumor.
Oh, Rumor, give me some. Rumor.
Developed a lot. You developed.
She gonna cry.
All right, so ladies, this is the time for the other podcast where if you have any questions, you can ask questions or give me your last thoughts and how'd you like it. So we're gonna start.
Oh, Rumor last.
Oh, you want to do Rumor last? Okay, cool. So we're gonna start over here with you. Any last questions or no?
No, I don't have any questions. This was my first experience on a podcast, and I'm happy about it. I love it so much because I wanted to start my own podcast because I just like talking a lot. But follow me on the gram 444.zooties. Okay.
Spell it.
She just did.
That's what I meant.
Otiez. If
There
you
we
don't
go.
know how to spell zooties.
All right. And would you come back?
Hell yeah, I'll definitely come back.
Word, we'll have you back. Well, the next episode here is going to be June 27th on a Friday. So if that fits you, I'll have my recruiter reach out to you and we can set it up again.
I'll put that right in my calendar.
All right, say no more.
I'll be available.
Marissa, welcome back. Thank you for coming again.
Thanks for having me again.
Any last questions? Anything? What's on your mind?
I honestly, this goes back to I think the feminism topic as well, and I don't want to like take too long because I know like
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
this can go like super deep, but as far as like being in a relationship with somebody, I know like politics are like huge these days. Would you date somebody who voted for somebody different?
For us, you want us to answer?
No, then for what you voted for or who
Like
you
the
voted
opposite of
for.
what
The opposite of what I voted for.
Exactly.
For this, for us, for the whole panel.
For everybody.
Okay,
For
we'll go
everybody.
last. We'll go last.
Okay.
Let's start with you first.
Oh, I mean, I don't really look at that.
Okay, so when it comes to politics, so like,
Can I say my answer? Because me personally, I won't date somebody who doesn't have the same thoughts as me.
Political
on those,
views.
Yeah, exactly. on
Okay,
that
fair
topic.
enough. So would you date a man that shared different political views than you?
Yeah.
Okay, what about you?
I think yes and no. Mainly no, but I'm open-minded, so I like to hear what people have to say.
Okay, fair enough. What about you?
No, but because I'm in the middle and it's hard to find people that are in the middle because they either choose one side, but I am in the middle when it comes to politics. I'm not blue, I'm not red, I'm just in the middle. I see through the BS. That's
Fair
just
enough.
me.
What about you, Romer?
I'm gonna say like her. Like I just feel like we gotta have some type of same viewpoint when it comes to certain things, and when it comes to political stuff, sometimes I feel like you need that same viewpoint. Cause
Okay, and what about you?
It depends on the situation, to be honest. Because we could bump heads, we can agree, we can both see the same view or not, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna just judge you because of it's just one simple thing.
So if you were dating somebody and you voted for women's rights and he voted against women's rights, would you still be okay with that?
No, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna leave him. It means more than.
Okay, so you're saying
more
that
than
as long as he's treating you right.
As long as he's
the
treating me right
political
and I'm
views
treating him
isn't
right, that's all that matters.
political views isn't anything that you would prioritize.
But what if his political views interfere with how he treats a woman?
Well, then no, I'm not gonna be with him.
That's
why
the
I
whole
said it
point.
depends on the situation. Yeah.
Okay.
But that means his viewpoints aren't the same as yours.
It seems the legends are true. Canada's treasure is back.
Was that Shania Twain?
Mm-hmm. She does this shit all the time.
Looking to maximize your monthly income? Our Yield Maximizer ETFs combine your favorite sectors with a high-yielding income-first strategy to help you meet your goals. More income every month from Hamilton ETFs.
Depending how he treats me and goes with the situation, lets me know, should I stay or should I go?
And a question for you, Marissa, since it was yours, can you just expound on why you wouldn't date a man that had different political views than you? Why wouldn't you?
And I think that goes down to values in
Okay.
relationships.
Yeah.
As much as people don't like to think that politics has nothing to do with relationship, it certainly does.
Yeah.
It does. It just does for me personally. I know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought.
No,
But
no,
yeah,
you're fine. You're
sorry.
fine. That you said it perfect. You said it goes down to values and whoever. If you think that your political views, it it won't reflect your relationships. It normally does, because if we're speaking directly here,
yes,
the left, the liberals, the Democrats, they are feminist. So on that side, they are usually male feminists. And if they are male feminists, their ideologies between dating and relationships, they're okay with 50-50. They don't really care about the traditional things. They are okay with sexual liberation sometimes. They are okay with transgenderism. They are okay with a lot of weird things. And especially, like, you can say that some men may embody some conservative views. But then it can be like a Dwayne Wade and his kid transitions and he helps the kid transition while the kid is like young. Like, what? You have no backbone? You're not going to be there for your kid and protect your kid from themselves?
See, and that's so huge when you're having kids. That's
so
huge.
it definitely has a lot to do with relationships. So then you can meet a man, have kids with that man, but then the man is so weak that he allows a child to make the rules and have the final say with their sexuality. No, you're a boy. You're a boy. You're never going to change into a girl. You can dress like a girl, which is weird, but you'll never really be a girl. What, you want to self-mutilate and cut off your wang? Think about how weird that is. Self-mutilation to cut off your penis. It's just like if I was like, you know what? I don't like this hand no more. I'm cutting it off. Y'all going to be like, this nigga's weird. This nigga's weird. He wants to cut off his hand. That's just like these kids out here want to cut off their wang and their parents accept it. Oh, little Billy, you know, he feels this way, so we have to honor his feelings. No, nothing is real about feelings. Nothing is real about feelings at all. Feelings isn't real. It isn't anything in a tangible physical world. Feelings is in another dimension. So with that being said, I agree. It has everything to do with relationships and the values that you hold. Generally speaking, now, are there some, but I say that, you know, there's a liberal out there, a guy that's Democrat, but he's leading the relationship. Yeah, there's definitely guys like that. That could be a Democrat and still have characteristic traits of traditionalism and leading the woman and being masculine and stuff like that. Yeah, that is, but in some way, they're going to be a little bit beta. Like in some way, it can be like boom, like depending on the situation, it's like, oh, everything is good. But then as one situation comes up, the chick is like, wait, you agree with that? Wait, why are you acting like that? Why do you act like that is because who he voted for. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Ease, what about you?
No, I cannot date a woman that has opposite views of me, because when it comes to raising children, there's going to be things that I won't agree with that she'll agree with. You know what I mean? So that's something I can't stand by, because I believe in God also. I'm religious also. So
I don't play with that.
I need a woman that's going to be on my program. I need a woman that's going to, you know, follow me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I have a question too.
But then there are Democrats that do believe in God and stuff. They're not all atheists.
Yeah, right.
All atheists.
But like because I believe in God, like I don't agree with transgenderism and homosexuality, but also like a lot of the people on the left, their views and ideologies don't benefit men anyway.
Benefit the family.
I'd rather date someone who's independent, just because they're not on both sides, but they're still traditional.
Yeah, I'm actually independent.
I'm independent myself.
Yeah,
like,
I'm independent also, but sometimes
but I voted for Trump.
I apparently didn't vote.
I mean, there was no independent person to vote for on the thing.
Yeah, it was no independent
Trump,
person,
then,
but
like,
as far as like what I'm registered as, I'm registered
I don't like
as.
Both of them.
Yeah, I'm registered as
personally.
independent,
Yeah,
but
I'm registered as independent.
vote.
I
But,
personally hate both of them. So,
I lean mostly towards the right.
I hate Kamala.
You don't like Kamala?
I don't. I
have no faith in this world anymore.
I wouldn't say I hate her. I just.
She said she got no faith.
Heat up your summer with Paramount Plus.
Power is a hungry thing. What do you think?
Let the magic happen.
I'm in.
Stream a mountain of summer entertainment with Paramount Plus.
Introducing the Hyundai Ioniq 9 all-electric 3-row SUV with up to 539 kilometers of range.
There should be all politicians are weirdos.
You're honestly picking the lesser of where it's like
Of the evils, the lesser of the evils.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Who question was that? Oh, that was yours. All right. Good question.
Were you scrolling through the super chat?
Last starts.
You thought I was
No,
super chat question.
I'm like, dang, like who? I did for a second. This is how you know it's late.
Last thoughts.
Okay, Marissa. Good question. And last thoughts. How'd you like it?
A great podcast. I mean, I love the setup.
Appreciate
I
you.
love to see how far you've come and how good you're doing.
Yo, you was
So
with us where we
congratulations.
had like, what, 500 subscribers?
Yeah.
And now you see we're
I
at
was on, like, the third
310K.
episode ever, I think.
Yeah, you're on like the third.
Which episode was that on when you did it?
Nigga, we was already like 60 episodes into something like. Nah, it was probably like.
West Side when you did it in Buffalo.
Oh, I don't know.
Remember when I came to that one?
Yeah, I don't know what episode that was. That was probably like maybe the
I know it
15th.
was one of the beginning ones.
That was
Yeah.
one of the beginning
Yeah,
ones. Yeah,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
the 15th, 20th episode, something like that.
It was like what body count is too hot at 15.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot you were on. Yeah, and then the chat was getting like 15. Nigga, you should have said 2. Should have said 1.
Well, they said what body count is like 2 months, not like 15.
Okay. And Marissa, would you come back?
Of course.
Definitely have you back, yo. And moving right along to you. Any last questions?
No, I don't have any last questions.
Okay. How'd you like the show? And would you come back?
I would definitely come back. I definitely like it. I just think it's very unique, and everybody's respectful. So it's cool vibes.
Cool. And I know you didn't speak as much, but you know when you come back, depending on different personalities, you could definitely speak more. And I'm sure you know it was your first time, so if you come back, you'll kind of understand how it is and be a little bit more prepared. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Moving right along. Any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. And how'd you like the podcast? And would you come back?
I liked it. I liked our little group. I felt like we was all very open-minded. I would definitely come back. I thought it was cool. Y'all are fun.
Word. I'll have you back.
You're welcome, by the way.
What, you convince her to come on?
She was the friend I bought.
Oh, okay, that's a friend. All right, shout out to you. Bringing a friend. Shout out to you. And
Help my girl out, you know. For me.
any last questions?
No, but shout out to the chat. Even though y'all cooked me, I love y'all. I would definitely come back. Y'all made me feel comfortable, and y'all picked my brain. I kind of am a little bit more open-minded in certain topics now, so I appreciate that.
For sure.
Word.
Sure.
And I would definitely come back, so hit me up.
Yeah, man. You know, like when you see the clips, you know, the clips could be taken out of context sometimes.
No, y'all, the
I
clips
look
are
like the
made
bad
to
guy.
benefit Cooley. They make the clips to make sure Cooley looks cool.
You know, I mean, I do be spitting facts though, so it is what it is, and I have a way of the way I speak with
And you guys
emphasis.
have a friend in me.
We got a friend in you. Shout out to that, man. You know what? You were pretty.
And shout out to Rumor for inviting me.
You were a good sport.
You were a good sport because there were times in the conversation where maybe it didn't favor your perspective, and you were able to listen, not to respond, but listen to understand, and you were like, okay, well, they're not just attacking me; they're actually saying something that it holds some validity. So, shouts out to you. And would you come back?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, word. I'll have you back. Rumor for the 87th time here on the show.
4 or 5 times.
Any last questions?
No last questions. But y'all know what I'm about to do. Tap in, Pretty Girls Love Weed. I'm on season 2. Season 1 is out now, High Level Co. Follow me on Instagram, _rumor_RUMOR. Shout out to Nova Babe. Shout out to the Inner City Vixens. Y'all tap in with them too. When y'all follow me, it's all in the bio. Feel me? But yeah.
Word.
Also,
we'll see you back, of course.
Oh, also listen to the music. It's the links in my bio, and Twitch starting in October when I get my house.
You shout out your IG?
Oh yeah, Galacta Asia. The guy literally told me.
They found it. Bro, they found it, bro.
Thank you, man.
Oh
They
yeah,
found it, bro.
Y'all tell Ease when he start his podcast, I need to be on there.
You gonna be on there?
Yeah.
You gonna be on there? Y'all all could be on there if y'all want.
We got Word Unbox is in $2. No, I'm joking. She said Good night to the podcast and Jason Derulo co-host. Talk about you, bro.
That's crazy.
I can see
You know, we're both Haitian too. Yeah, he's from Haiti. His fam's from Haiti. My fam's from Haiti.
Y'all might be cousins on the low. I
Well,
don't know it.
probably. Shit.
Oh, wait, guys, I do want to give a shout out to the brand that I'm wearing today. Hold on.
Oh, my bad.
Yo.
Coughing.
That's crazy.
I was coughing. It came out.
Promo.
That's crazy.
But shout out to AOA from me. Wait, yeah. AOA shirt. Aliens of Anywhere, you feel me? Tap in. Problematic Genius on Instagram, AOA, Aliens of Anywhere.
Word. Yo, chat, thank y'all all for staying up until 2 a.m. with us and rocking with No Fugazi podcast. This podcast was dope. Tune in. I am doing, no debate night this Sunday. We're probably just going to put up clips from this episode for this Sunday. But I am debating another person that was on Jubilee that also was on whatever podcast too that debated some people, Andrew Wilson. I will be debating him this Thursday. So that stream will be up shortly. You'll see it. And that's going to be another fun one, which he's going to get obliterated bad. So tune into that. Ease, you got anything? Any updates or anything, bro?
Nah, man. I just appreciate all of y'all. Appreciate the chat. Appreciate y'all ladies coming on. Spread the word. And see you next time.
Peace. We out.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to The Public Good. This is Deja James with Partnership for the Public Good, or PPG, uniting over 380 partner organizations to build a better Buffalo-Niagara region. It's great to see you all. We took a little bit of a hiatus. As you know, it has been the height of election season and election primary. By the time you'll see this, the primary would have been over. We're actually recording this on primary day. So we hope you went out and voted. If not, you're going to have another chance to vote in the general election, and that's why I really want to bring the guests that I have here today on, because PPG recently released a Buffalo in Transition series, which are policy recommendations for a new mayoral administration, whoever that may be, and policies that they should be considering to really actually better the community and solve some of the problems that we've had in Western New York for the past few decades into this new century, to be honest. So I'm really excited to learn today, or for you all to learn today, about vacant land use. And if you want to reference the paper, it is on ppgbuffalo.org, but we're going to be using that as a basis for our conversation today. And I just want to read a little excerpt from it very, very quickly about what the current state of vacant land is in the city of Buffalo. As the population shrank in Buffalo from about 500 to 600,000 residents in 1950 to 274,000 residents in 2023, Buffalo lost much of its housing. Between 2001 and 2017, the city demolished over 5,900 residential buildings, and today there are around 15,300 total vacant lots in the city of Buffalo, and over half of them are owned by the city themselves. And there's been a really large issue of people not having access to be able to develop those vacant lots and be able to make new housing, make community gardens, all of those different things. And so I'm really excited to be joined today by Grassroots Gardens of Western New York and Eastside Stewards to talk about vacant land use. But first, I want to introduce our intern for the summer, Madison. Go ahead, Madison.
Hi, I'm Madison Sierra. I am an undergrad student at Buffalo State College, and I will also be the summer co-host with PPG podcast, so very excited.
Thank you so much, Madison. And now I'm going to have our guests introduce themselves. Tim, I'll start with you, Grassroots Gardens. Can you explain a little bit about Grassroots Gardens and yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Timothy Chen. I am the Executive Director at Grassroots Gardens of Western New York. And without reciting the mission statement, in a nutshell, what we do is we work with community groups, schools, churches, block clubs, to help them build community spaces that become gardens. This might look like a vacant lot at the end of the street that is full of trash that the neighbors want to clean up. It might also look like a school courtyard that the teachers want to build something for the youth to be able to participate in. So it varies. There's a wide spectrum, but what we do is provide all the materials, try to remove all the barriers, cover the administrative things like insurance, leasing land from the city, negotiating with council members to try to basically return ownership of these spaces to community members.
Absolutely. And we have two folks from Eastside Source, so I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tindahi Yauku. I am one of the co-founders and the Community and Planning Director for Eastside Stewards. We are a community organization and workers cooperative that works with Eastside residents to transform vacant lots into community assets. So whether it be the revitalization of neglected green spaces, developing on unbuilt lots, green workforce development, and even equitable resource distribution, whether it be food, housing, energy. We just want to work with residents across the East Side and then beyond to be able to provide sustainable resources and community building opportunities.
Awesome. And Star?
Thank you. My name is Star Funderburg. I am another co-founder with Eastside Stewards, also the communications director. And I'm just excited to help and assist in any way I can with Eastside Stewards and revitalizing the spaces on the east side of Buffalo. I'm born and raised Eastside resident, and that's pretty much was my motivation for joining and being a part. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Madison, I'm going to have you ask your first question for the guest today.
You got it. Okay, so my question was directed at Tim, but I think we could all speak to it, which is you spoke about the need for community having control over their land. So if you could just speak more on why the community agency is so important when talking about addressing food insecurity, environmental justice, and neighborhood revitalization all at once.
Your home is your happy place until you come back to bad odors. Use Febreze plug-in. It alternates between 2 complementary scents to fight odors and provide freshness for up to 50 days. Try Febreze Plug.
Self-employed in Canada? Protect your small business with Zinsurance. Zinsurance policies start at only $19 per month. Trusted by 250,000 Canadian small businesses. Save up to 35% today.
Yeah, I mean, land is one of the most important, maybe the most critical form of capital for things like generational wealth, right? Things like being secure in one's own home and community. So that's where a lot of our work stems from. 30 years ago, we had a number of residents. At that point, it was mostly Lower West Side residents who basically formed together and said, we don't want X, Y, and Z in our community. We don't want the dumping. We don't want the vandalism. We don't want the tall grass that the city isn't mowing, right? And it was very much per our name. It was a grassroots effort to basically take these spaces back. We say they're city-owned lots, but they're also public land, right? These are land that are owned essentially by taxpayer dollars. So there should be a benefit there. And land also offers all these different opportunities, whether it's a communal green space that doesn't even grow food, but provides that mental health benefit of having a pocket park so you don't have to take a bus to Delaware Park, or growing food, right? Or building housing, affordable housing for people to be able to be stable in. All these different aspects are really critical. And I think, our organization, Eastside Stewards, and many other organizations try to touch on different aspects of this. And then I think another piece of it in terms of equity is if you look at the history of land ownership in the U.S. in particular, how land was seized, right, from different populations, especially given the history of slavery, Jim Crow, and then you get into redlining that is kind of hand in hand with a lot of urban renewal work in the 60s and 70s. there's a large portion of the population that hasn't had regular access to land. So that's something that needs to be addressed.
Absolutely. And Tendahi and Star, I'm wondering if you guys can comment, especially on that last part of, land, especially on the east side of Buffalo, has been taken from us in a lot of different ways. And even redevelopment projects aren't necessarily, under the guise or leadership of the community itself that's on the east side. And so I'm wondering, with your initiative with East Side Stewards, how is that so important for the community to be taking their power back and for them to be the leaders in what they have a say in what's happening with the land around them and that's in their community?
I mean, it adds to the biggest part for me that I notice is going to add to their mental health. It's going to improve their way of life, how they see each other, how they work with each other for every generation. So I think that's really important, to make sure they have a voice, to make sure they're seeing what's done and they have a part in what's being done in their home. It goes back, I remember a great-grandparent telling me that, you can't sweep in front of someone else's doorstep until you check your own. Mm-hmm. So they're here, this is their home, making sure that they have a part in that as well.
Yeah. And I think especially like operating on the east side for decades has been disinvested in. And to speak, to add on to what Tim was saying, redlining has deeply scarred the east side of Buffalo. Whether it be denying historically black residents of the east side, home loans and building the Kensington Expressway, and compounding on what it means to own land, but also be at greatest threat of environmental degradation. So it's deeply important for us to, when we're doing this work, we're prioritizing the voices of people on the east side. It's not necessarily like that East Side Stewards knows best, but is that the community members inherently know what they need. So it's important for us to understand those needs and then be able to build off of that.
Absolutely, and I love that you say that the community members, they already understand and know what they need. And I think there's a misconception that, when I look at those troll comments on social media, it's like, oh, well, they just don't care about their neighborhood and they don't know what to do with their own neighborhood and everything like that. But when you think about the actual resource deprivation of, there's 15,000 vacant lots that are taken from community ownership and community power, and that's the actual landscape we're looking at, and not people just not caring that there's a vacant lot next to them, but them actually not having the tangible power to do anything about it or ownership of that land. That it's the modern day redlining. It's that thing. It's not, redlining isn't just this historical word that we use that doesn't exist today. And I think a lot of the topics and, especially from civil rights era, people think, well, that was in 1965. That's not right now, right? And these are topics that are right now and are happening right now and affect the way people are able to take care and engage in their neighborhoods. I'm wondering, for you, particularly in the programming that you're doing, what type of programming are you doing to help re-engage people into their neighborhood? And that's for you too, Tim. And how are you actually going about doing that, getting community buy-in, getting resident buy-in, and helping them re-engage? Because I find a lot of people are kind of disillusioned with even trying to make a community garden, or block clubs have tried for years to do different things, and then the city says you can't do that, and then they mow it over or whatever. So how are you all going about really empowering residents to feel like, no, we can do this and we can actually participate in our own neighborhood again? Just wondering about both of your programming.
Bring your dream home to life for as low as $30 per month for 24 months. Your home, your way. Now more affordable than ever. Visit your local Ashley store or shop ashley.ca today.
It's not crafty. It's your craft. It's not DIY. It's do it yourself on Wix.
You want to go first? You want me to? I can start, and please, you all should definitely chime in because I know you all have, in a lot of ways, like different and also more kind of in-depth programming than we do. So Grassroots Gardens, we work with over 100 community and school gardens across Buffalo and Niagara Falls. So we're a small organization, we're stretched thin, and that limits kind of what we do on a day-to-day basis with each individual garden, right? We can't be there watering, mowing for them, pulling weeds, and then knocking on doors for all these neighborhoods. What our model is really run on is it needs to be a community-driven effort to come to us or hear about us and reach out to us and say, we want this, right? We have the people who are already interested, but we need your help. We want you to come in and help us out. Our model is really driven on community decision-making. None of our spaces are kind of a top-down model where we go in and dictate rules aside from like, hey, don't grow in the ground because there might be lead and asbestos. But it's all like the community decides where they want the beds, what they want the space to look like, how they want to share the food, what kind of events they hold, right? All that is based on decision-making that community leaders facilitate among their neighbors. So that's a really critical piece. I think the second piece that we really focus on is we want to sustain these spaces. We're not just trying to build new projects for the sake of doing something new and flashy. It's really important that community gardens that have existed, right, we are a safety net, our support network for them. So when there is a little bit of neighborhood instability, when people are renters and they move around and some people are maybe a little more elderly and aren't able to move 2,000 pounds of soil on their own, right? We bring out support to make sure that those spaces continue to exist as community anchors, as spaces that both the gardeners that establish them, but also people moving into the area can continue enjoying. And so I think, our programming looks very different based on which garden is asking for our support. It might be volunteer groups. It might be helping them organize and host an event, right? Whether it's yoga in the gardens or a little concert or whatever the community members would like to see. And we try to make sure we're adapting to what we're asked to do.
Yeah. And I think for Eastside Stewards, to speak on a piece of like residents feeling disparaged and even getting started or knowing how to fight for themselves or advocate for public land. I think for us, it's been, someone taught me a term recently, civic imagination. What we're trying to do is really show up every day and do the work so that people can see that this is possible. I think especially on the East Side, it's similar to how I grew up in the South Bronx in New York City. People don't feel that they have the capital, the resources, the hope, the community to be able to build out projects like these. So it's vital that when we're showing up in community, we're showing them that this is possible. Right, regardless of who owns the land or regardless of how much resources you have or how much capital you have, this is possible. Even Eastside Stewards, we got started with $0. And we've been investing as a organization, co-founders, investing capital in this work. So it is possible.
Yeah, I love that, like the collective ownership and like of community coming together and saying, no, we're going to do this thing. I think that's a beautiful model of yours. And I think there's a misconception that Black people don't care about environmental issues or don't care about land issues or things like that. So I'm just inspired by seeing you two young, Black, beautiful people doing this work. And I'm just wondering, if I could get a little personal for a second, how you personally got involved in this work and what it kind of means to you. If I don't mind me asking, you said you're from the South Bronx. You said you're born and raised on the east side of Buffalo. What made you interested in doing an initiative like this? Like, I'm just curious myself.
For me, I mean, there's a number of reasons, but I think the biggest reasons would be I was raised in Kensington Bailey area, moved to Charlotte, North Carolina for a little bit, had a family there, and we came back, and my daughter, I want to say she was 8 at the time. We were driving down Bailey, and she's like, "Mom, why is there so much trash on the ground? Why does it look like that here?" So that's one thing. Mm-hmm. So I was talking to her about how, we have to be more involved in the community, and even if you don't see, what you want to see, we can still make that difference ourselves. Mm-hmm. So she was really interested in wanting to clean up. So, you know, when your children want to do something, it kind of prompts you and pushes you to do it. Also, meeting Tendahi. I met him after working with Open Buffalo. And his spirit, he really had a different spirit for helping the community. I mean, I already wanted to, but he was serious. Yeah.
Febreze. When you host, your bathroom can feel like a revolving door. Keep things fresh with Febreze Bathroom. No batteries, no outlets needed. This air freshener fights odors for 45 days. So even after every flush, you know your bathroom smells amazing. Pair with Charmin toilet paper.
Shell Rotella with advanced synthetic technology protects against engine wear, helping your truck live longer. Hey, where'd that light go? You were done with that, right, Dad? Well, you're definitely done now. Shell Rotella, for the long haul. See all the benefits of Shell Rotella with advanced synthetic technology at rotella.ca/long-haul.
So, and he did the work himself. And you know how you can just tell someone's energy to where it's a good fit. You know, you want to do the work, but you can tell, okay, I can work with this person. They're dedicated. So it was that. And that's pretty much what prompted me to join Eastside Stewards. And like he said, when you see someone in the community doing the work themselves, it makes you say, hey, you know, whether I have no funds to start it myself, whether I have the resources or not, whether I see someone else doing it, I can do it too. So, yeah, he's out there doing it. I love the motto of Eastside Stewards. I love how we go out and talk to community members. We go door to door. We survey. We see what do they want to see in a community garden. How can we better assist? How can we better support them? And if we can't support them in Eastside Stewards, we can partner with other organizations that are doing the work, and we can be the bridge. So, yeah. It's seeing people that look like us, seeing community members. It's one thing to see someone outside of our community doing it, that's fine. But people within our community need to see us doing the work, hot in this weather, low funds. They need to see us doing it. So that's pretty much my why.
Okay, Tendahi, Mr. Visionary. What?
Oh, Lord.
You from, well, listen, because I'm trying to see, like, from the South Bronx, coming here, what made you feel like I need to invest in this community? I need to sow my vision here.
Yeah, I think that there's so many parallels between the South Bronx, where I grew up, and the east side of Buffalo. We're both predominantly communities of color that have, for decades, been disinvested in, and have decisions made over our heads. Whether it be the Bronx burning, because they're literally trying to get insurance money from dilapidated buildings, from the east side, where they're literally destroying, like you said, 5,000, thousands of buildings. And I think that a part of it is like, there's something that needs to be done. There's a need. And I've always been someone who's like, if there is a need, if there's a passion, if there's a drive, then why not?
Absolutely. That's beautiful. I'm so inspired by you all. I love when I have guests on that kind of reinvigorate me a little bit. Because sometimes you do this work and you just get so tired, you know, like, and you feel, and to your point of, because it reflects what you said, Star, of like seeing our people do it, you know, and, you know, sometimes I'll be in, you know, movement spaces and there's not a lot of us, you know, and it's not our fault. Like, it's like, we're kept from certain spaces in certain ways, or they don't want to hear things in a real way or whatever. And so I just appreciate spaces like this, and that includes you, Tim, from Grassroots Gardens, because I feel like these more community-based initiatives, they don't have a scheme or agenda behind them. It's just a real space where people can come and have an honest conversation of, this is what's going on in our community, this is what we need, and activating a place like Grassroots Garden, like, okay, here's the resources, do it, or if we don't know where it is, we'll find it, and we'll bring it to you. And sometimes that's what we need rather than just, oh, well, let's give it to a developer who's then going to somehow trickle it down to the community at some point, right? And I say all that to say, because I'm about to segue, I promise. The city has announced a new program, and the city's tried to launch a few different programs to help with vacant land use and different things like that. We've been subject to multiple national studies about how deteriorated our city is. But they participated in a particular program that's going to help them offer 51 city-owned lots in the Hamlin Park and Maston Park areas. And for people who don't know who that is, or you're watching out from Buffalo, those are East Side-based communities, to help community redevelopment of those spaces. They do use the word developer in here, but they do say that they want it to be community-based developers or community-led development projects. And then on top of that, they also are looking at a citywide homestead plan to sell eligible vacant lots. What eligible will mean, we don't know yet, for just $1,000 to help families. So you could potentially get a vacant lot for $1,000. I'm wondering if something like that, from on the face of it, was successful. And just to update folks, that's not officially in place yet. They're announcing that plan to then be voted on and approved by council, which will probably happen later this year. So just to say, this isn't an announcement that you can go to City Hall right now and get $1,000 lot. You can't do that. So just hold on a second. But I want to ask you all if this seems like a promising policy in you all's eyes and in your experience and your expertise, and then maybe going into what you would like to see the city doing based on your experience so far. And I'll start with you, Tim, about that announcement, because we talked a little offline about this announcement as well, but wondering what your initial thoughts are on something like this.
Sure. I think it's a start. I think it's...
Contractors, are you covered? Insurance policies start at only $19 per month. Get your certificate of insurance in no time. Over 250,000 Canadian small businesses served. Save up to 35% today.
Start of some policies that have been pushed for a long time, not just by Grassroots Gardens. One of our focus, like I briefly mentioned, is really protecting long-term spaces, and if they're sold off, right, they become bulldozed. Someone builds maybe a cookie-cutter building where a green space initially was. So our goal of protecting those spaces, hopefully we're a step closer, right? Nonprofits can't just pony up, especially on certain lots that have now risen 10 times in value compared to 10 years ago. We can't buy that and protect those spaces. And so $1,000, it's still money. It's money that nonprofits are maybe more able to raise. But I think you hit the nail on the head, is like, what does it mean to be eligible? What are the qualifications going to be? Legacy lots, right? How long have you been taking care of it? How long are you going to be required to be taking care of it? We don't know the answers to that yet. I just looked at the city website yesterday, and there's an RFP for the Hamlin Park development plan, which is more infill housing from what I understand. There's not anything about buying actual vacant land for, the homesteading part. That I think people who want to create green spaces, grow food, the work that we're doing, that Eastside Stewards is doing, that has not been defined. So once again, I think it's a start. I think we'll see maybe in September when Common Council hopefully votes on this, what it looks like. And it's encouraging, because I think it's been years of groups like PPG, like Grassroots Gardens, like other community groups, right? Fruitvale Community Land Trust, Push Buffalo, saying, hey, we need more progressive policies to be implemented, and really not hearing anything for a long time. So I know it's election season, and there's a reason we're hearing a little bit more now. There's some pressure, and I think it's a great time to leverage that.
Yeah, and I mean, to the point of the Buffalo in Transition series in general, it's like it's pressure because of election season, but it's also just a really pivotal election that we haven't had in a long time, where it's a whole new stock of potential leadership, right? in some ways, because some people have been there for a long time, but we won't get into that. But it's a new opportunity. And so what are we going to do with that opportunity? Because we already know what the problems are. What are we going to do to fix it? And whoever ends up in office has to be able to take responsibility to do that. I want to ask Tendahi and Star also, because housing is a real problem, especially on the east side of Buffalo, affordable housing and all of those things. So for a lot of these plans, a lot of the times prioritize affordable housing, but why should we be thinking in tandem about community cleanups, green spaces alongside concurrently with housing at the same time? Because obviously we do need more housing, but that shouldn't neglect the fact that we need to take care of our parks, make sure people have open space, make sure people have access to green space and things like that, because we really do have a deficit of that on the east side of Buffalo in particular. So just wondering your thoughts on the kind of balance between housing and prioritizing green space as well.
Yeah, I think in terms of housing, I recently spoke to someone from Habitat for Humanity Buffalo, and we were having a really deep and informed conversation around what it means to do urban planning in a smart, equitable way. And I think a part of it is like building housing, building affordable housing, especially for first-time home buyers, is incredibly important. But we can't just have houses. Mm-hmm. We have to live in whole communities where we have affordable goods and services, where we have green spaces where we can grow food, where we have community spaces where we can, throw a birthday party, a wedding, baby shower. It's important for us to be able to have communities that look like the needs and desires of actual human beings. And for a long time in Buffalo, the strategic planning department has been favorable to developers. There's no doubt about that. And many organizations that have been paving the way, especially Grassroots Gardens, have been denied access to opportunities to develop on land, to build out community gardens, to build out community assets, when that's exactly what Buffalo needs. We're waiting for these magical developers to fall out of the sky and invest in Buffalo. And they don't exist. Mm-hmm. But what does exist is community power and the desire to make Buffalo better.
Absolutely. And I love that you brought it back to urban planning, because that's huge. I mean, I think a lot of the redevelopment processes now, it is just like throwing up a apartment building or whatever. Nobody's thinking about green space. Maybe some of them have a rooftop something, barely. And so where are we going to go? Like, we can't just be, even New York City has, like Tim mentioned before, pocket parks and other things like that. It has to be an intentional choice. And I'm not sure some of the developers that the city's been going with so far really consider that. And if they are, some of the newer development projects that I know of that have green space, I'm going to just be honest, like, I don't feel welcome there. Like, it's usually not for us. We can't go, you know what I mean? Or you looked at funny if you even line dance a little bit or whatever, do stuff that we usually do, as a community. And so it's about obviously purposeful urban development and redevelopment, but also purposeful placing of green space that feels welcoming to all people and that serve our entire community as well. And we already are reaching the end of our show, so I'm going to stop talking and let Madison ask our kind of surmising question. I want to make sure we end on a high note, and Madison's always so chippy and chipper, so go ahead,
Yes.
Madison, with the last question.
You got it. Okay, so for all of you guys, just looking ahead 5 to 10 years, what do you see the Buffalo landscape looking like in terms of food access and just community power?
Hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Bring your dream home to life for as low as $30 per month for 24 months. Visit your local Ashley store or shop ashley.ca today.
I'm starting. Great. haven't hoped and dreamed quite enough. I think there's so many wonderful organizations and groups and people trying to work on this right now and working on this. Like, I don't want to say trying, I guess people are doing the work, right? I think policies that Deja brought up, for example, are those hopes are that, you know, Grassroots Gardens has been around a little bit longer, but we want more organizations like Eastside Stewards to be present. We don't want the city to throw all the things to us, right? We think there needs to be so many more organizations doing the important work that you all are doing, that other food access and environmental organizations are doing. And there's plenty of space, right? There's 15,000 lots, like you said. There's plenty of space for housing and plenty of space for that quality of life that Tendahi was talking about. So I think we should be hopeful. We should be optimistic, because unlike a lot of cities that are densely packed, there's no space for imagining something better. We've got the space, and we've got relatively affordable space compared to a place like New York City, Boston, Philadelphia. We've also got models of cities that have done something with these spaces, right? Places like Detroit are a couple years ahead of us because they had so much population loss. Places like Philly, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Baltimore, all have models that we should learn from, and we hope that City Hall will look to them and take the best parts that worked, right, and put it here. It's an investment in the community to kind of curate and protect and steward land, and we know how to do it, and we know the ideas that are out there, and we just need the powers that be to trust the community members.
Absolutely. Tendahi Star, what do we hope for the East Side in the next 5 to 10 years?
For me, I mean, I'm going to piggyback off of what you said. I think the great thing about these different groups that we're working with is there's a lot of collaboration, and you don't usually see that. Going to the Juneteenth this past Juneteenth, in the agricultural pavilion, there were so many different organizations represented that were working together, just pulling each other's resources, seeing, okay, you're doing this, how can we work together? So my hope and dreams is that I already know that's going to multiply. The collaboration is going to multiply, but with that, you're going to different parts of the city, especially on the east side, and you're seeing no vacant lots. You're seeing the greenhouses, you're seeing the veggies, the different gardens, and people are using them. You're seeing children that are creating art for these spaces, and the people are using food if they need it from the gardens to take back to their home. And hopefully, I mean, this is a huge dream, on every porch you see a mini garden. You know, on the windowsills you're seeing the rosemary, the different herbs, things like that. I mean, that's a huge dream, but hey. But also, especially on the east side where we have mostly people of color, they're really tapping into their heritage and how we did use the land and we did use what we can grow ourselves. There's a lot happening right now in the White House, and I hope that people are inspired to tap into what we can do ourselves with our hands and with seeds. And yeah, that's what I want to see.
Love that. Tendahi, any last hopes and dreams?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. We dream the same. I would say definitely the political will to let go. Like, again, like continuing to hold on to land that could be utilized for public good needs to end. I feel like it's an apartheid. It's a public land apartheid. We need to end it. And I think that, again, like seeing every single vacant lot, the thousands and thousands of vacant lots on the east side that are left in despair and neglect are actually used as community assets, whether it be sustainable housing, community renewable energy systems, used as a community garden, or whatever needs and desires there are for that specific space, for it to be used for what the community wants.
Thank you so much. I invite our watchers or viewers on YouTube, Instagram, wherever you're seeing this, to also comment what your hopes and dreams are that you would like to see in the city of Buffalo for our vacant land use, for green space, for third spaces, and all of those things. We thank the guests so much. Thank you so much, Tim Tendahi Star, for coming on the show today. Thank you, Madison, my co-host. Thank you so much. This has been The Public Good, and from Partnership for the Public Good, or PPG, uniting over 380 organizations to build a better Buffalo Niagara region. We are trying to lead the way and give Buffalo in transition policies best practices for a new mayoral administration to truly, truly consider community-based policies to fix the problems that have lasted decades in our city, and we hope that they consider those policies. If you would like to read more, please visit ppgbuffalo.org. This one was on vacant land use. There are 8 other papers that are released, and we will be having subsequent episodes coming out on those topics very, very soon. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. Hey, this is Deja James with Partnership for the Public Good, or PPG, which unites over 380 partner organizations to make a better Buffalo Niagara region. Lately, we have been on a long journey talking about federal changes and how that has local impact, and how we can be working on the local level to fight back against federal changes and make sure that we're protecting our communities. One of the biggest things that we can't ignore is trying to preserve democracy in a time where it's very much being under attack, especially for certain communities. And so today I'm so excited to be talking about ranked choice voting, which is actually on our community agenda this year. And ranked choice voting, we're going to get into exactly what it is, but I'm happy that I have some experts and some coalition members that are on our coalition for the ranked choice voting plank with PPG. I have someone here with me from the League of Women Voters. We have someone here from Unite New York, and we have someone from the Civic Engagement department from the University at Buffalo. So I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves, and we'll get right into what ranked choice voting is for the viewers. But Lori, maybe I'll start with you.
Okay. Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm Lori Robinson, and I am the president of our local Buffalo Niagara League of Women Voters. The League of Women Voters has been defending democracy now for 105 years. Trying our best. We keep hoping things are going to get better, but right now we are really very engaged in trying to make these changes with voting, because we have very low turnout of voting. So if we have maybe a new way to vote, would be exciting for people to get involved. But the League is a nonpartisan organization, and democracy is not a partisan issue.
Absolutely. David?
Yeah, I'm David Green. I'm the statewide organizing director from Unite New York. We are a pro-democracy organization, nonpartisan, grassroots. We are trying to move forward and educate voters about 5 different issues on a statewide basis. One is ranked choice voting. Our others are open primaries, term limits for statewide office, better ballot access for candidates, and citizen ballot initiatives. So anything in that panoply, we are very happy to talk about.
And my name's Connor Whitney. I'm currently serving as an ambassador of civic engagement through UB's Community and Civic Engagement. This semester we focused on a particular community issue, and I chose ranked choice voting mainly because I think that it could bring a more just and equitable democracy.
Absolutely. And we know that, voting access, voter suppression, all of those things have been really huge topics, especially in the last few presidential elections, but even state elections. And as we had a huge election last year, and then on the local level in Buffalo, we have a huge election with the mayoral race, and we see, upwards of 10 different candidates throwing their hats in the ring. Even if those get dwindled down, often people feel like, we're only going to have the choice of the lesser 2 evils anyway, right? When it comes down to it, after a primary or even during the primary, we're going to have to just whittle it down to whoever's the most popular and throw our vote in with who we think can win rather than who we may like or who we may not like. And we hear people say that over and over again during different voting seasons. And so I think ranked choice voting is such an interesting initiative. And actually PPG ourselves pitched this onto the agenda this year because we do get one pitch. We don't try and rig the game or anything, but we do sometimes as a staff become passionate about a certain issue, and voting is very, very much something we're passionate about. And so we were really excited to hear about the possibility of ranked choice voting and how it's being implemented other places, and how that can kind of open up access to voters who maybe feel like their voices aren't being heard, and maybe that they have no choice, and maybe are really disengaged or kind of don't believe in the voting system anymore, and maybe aren't even voting at all anymore. And so hoping that something like this would re-engage people. But I'm talking about how hopeful I am about it, and maybe folks have never heard of ranked choice voting before. So can someone here explain just really simply what is ranked choice voting for viewers who may not know or have never heard of it?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So ranked choice voting is a system of voting. It's an upgrade to the way that we currently vote. So right now when people vote for a candidate, you pick one candidate on the ballot. But with ranked choice voting, you can say your favorite, second favorite, third favorite. You rank your choices, which is why it's called ranked choice voting. And that way, if you really believe in someone, but you're not sure if they can win, you can still put them first and put someone second as a backup choice. So it gives you more options as a voter.
Absolutely. And so, I think people are curious, especially about, well, what do you mean we can rank our people? What does that mean in terms of who's actually selected or not? How are they taking those rankings then and then selecting a winning candidate if some people voted for the third person first or if somebody else's third person? How do you sparse that out? Because it's hard to even think about in your head. I don't know if that's a little too technical to explain to people really quickly, but
Happy to.
How can people's rankings then turn into a viable candidate?
Yeah, so after everyone votes, what the election administrators do is you count up all the first place votes, and then you see if anyone has above 50%, because you want the winner to have a majority, right? That's what we ideally want in a democracy, is we're all voting for someone who actually got a majority of the vote. And that doesn't always happen right now when you have a lot of candidates, right? Like you talked about, potentially splitting the field. So you count up the first place votes, see if someone has above 50%. And if they do, then they win. Then it's over, you're good. If they don't, then what you're going to do is you're going to take the candidate that got the fewest first place votes, and then they get eliminated. And then the votes are automatically redistributed based on second choices. So like if you had voted for that least popular candidate as your first choice, then your vote would be transferred to your second choice. And then you just check again if someone has 50%. You keep on doing that and eliminating candidates and checking until you have someone pass that 50% threshold, and then we know we have a winner.
That's just so exciting. I don't know. It's like, why have we always been doing it this way? But I guess I'm also interested because this isn't just an idea. There's some places that have already implemented and are doing this. So where has this been implemented before? Where is it working? And how is it working? How are people using it?
So it's currently used in a few different places. So the international examples we had to pull from were that Australia has been using it for 100 years, as well as Ireland. They've both been using it for 100 years very successfully. But there was a really exciting moment in 2016 when Maine statewide decided to use it. So they decided to use that, and other places were inspired. And now we have about 50 different municipalities across the country that use ranked choice voting, as well as Maine statewide and Alaska statewide. So those are different examples. There actually was a time in the 1940s, around the 30s, 40s, when there was actually a good amount of use of it. Some Ohio cities, New York City, other places had it, but then it started giving too much representation to women, to black people, et cetera. And people didn't like that, and they were like, "This is too scary. Let's revert to the old system." So if maybe that might play into our conversation today.
Isn't fear of difference and change always what holds us up from progress? That's a really, really scary thought. But it's really interesting for you to say, because I'm on the coalition, and I didn't even know that. I know you mentioned Australia before, but for Australia and Ireland for over a century to be using a system like this, I mean, it's, I think it's strength tested at this point now.
A fun fact about Ireland is the reason they started using it is because the British were afraid that in the Republic of Ireland, when it was formed, they would have a minority of British people, and they wanted to make sure that minority had representation. So they wanted to use something that was more representative.
When it worked in their favor, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Well, that's so interesting, Lori. I'm interested on your perspective, especially coming from the League of Women Voters, who's advocated for kind of women's suffrage and also just women's right to vote. How a system like this could be helping minority populations become more activated in space, because we already see, especially in presidential elections, it's still very much a male-dominated space. And so how can this be utilized to advance, the status of women in our electoral system?
Hopefully by allowing more people to get on the ballot and for the constituents to have more choices, that would open it up to more women and minorities. One of the interesting things that that I've noticed is in some places they have a primary and use the ranked choice voting, and they can have, you know, as many people as they can fit on the ballot running in this primary and then still picking the ranked choice voting. I think in Alaska at one point they had like 50 candidates on the ballot for the primary. So it gives everybody a chance to see everybody's name and who might be interested in the job, and if they know them or don't know them, or, you know, want to pick them. But at least, you know, just opening it up to more people is what the main goal is, and not just to have the parties pick their favorite.
Right. And it gives the opportunity too for people who may have an interest to actually act on that interest, because I've heard, and we just had a local common council election where we've got 2 of the first women on the Buffalo Common Council, which, you know, who would have thought that hadn't happened before 2024. But even both of them, as strong, you know, viable Democratic picks, were still worried about their status as women, even within the local party, to be instated in those roles. And they both have really emphasized the importance of them being the first council women. And I think, you know, I've heard some people personally say, running in different races, you know, well, maybe I shouldn't run in this race anyway, because they're like, I'm going to be the only woman in this race, and there's 5 other men, like there's no chance for me, right? And we hear that in other ways too, when it comes to race or gender identity or other things, what have you. And so I think having a system like this where people don't have to already feel defeated before they even try, you know, is a really, really huge opportunity to be opening kind of the candidate pools to a lot more people who have the interest to actually serve in office, but don't feel like they have a shot. And I think letting people know that they have that shot is really key and important. I'm interested, Connor, in your perspective, coming from the academic setting, you know, how, especially I think younger folks now, if you know any perspective of kind of the younger generation and how their attitudes towards voting, because I know, you know, I'm not that old myself, and most of my friends are like, I'm just not going to vote, right? And so what are your hopes for this to kind of activate people in a new way? And have you seen people on campus or anybody, you know, in your initiative in the civic engagement office kind of excited about new prospects?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think overall my generation and generations above mine are quite disillusioned with our current political process and the kind of party machines that we're beholden to at this time. I think overall ranked choice voting gives people more options, but it also makes them feel like they have more options, and it's shown to increase participation. And then also just from like candidate perspectives, you're no longer working against party machines. You sort of can go and make your own path. You don't need the blessing of the Democrats or the Republicans to run, as long as it's a ranked choice voting in a general election. So I think those two things combined really increase civic engagement generally. I think people are more excited when they have more options and maybe someone who better aligns with their actual political views. So I think from my generation's perspective, at least, ranked choice voting is exciting, and it gets people more apt to participate. Yeah, I mean, I think overall, oh, and also at UB, we're currently working on getting ranked choice voting as part of our like student club elections, so that people start to get more exposed to it. So.
Yeah, exposed to actually using it in that process. Because I think that's the other argument is like, oh, well, it's too different and people are going to be confused, right? So what are you guys kind of arguments about some of, you know, the perceived challenges or deficits of RCV and why maybe it shouldn't be implemented in some people's eyes? That, you know, it'll be too confusing or there'll be too many candidates, right? Which already happens anyway, as we see in the current mayoral election anyway, so people are going to fight regardless. But how can we kind of debunk some of that stuff? You know, would people be more afraid of more choices? I think we can assume younger folks will like that. Is it true that older generations would not like that? Or I don't know what you guys' opinion is about that.
So what we've seen from the evidence, because we actually have a lot of places that have used it, which is great. We're not talking about this in theory. So you often find before it's implemented somewhere, everyone is scared that people won't understand it. They'll, it'll make people not turn out, et cetera. But you don't see that in the end. You find from exit polls that consistently people like it. They can use it easily. We saw in the New York City 2021 race with ranked choice voting for their primary that people left and 95% of them found it easy to use. 77% wanted to use it again. So you consistently see this across the board that when people are actually using it, they enjoy it. But there is a lot of trepidation ahead of time. So if we can get over that hump and into a place of actually using it, I think you'll see the voters like it.
Yeah. What do you think, Lori?
Well, I think it's very interesting that, general knowledge, people are afraid of change. I've been around a while. I've seen a lot of change. I mean, every time I open my cell phone, it's different. So what is that all about? That's change on a constant basis. So I feel like having a new way to vote, like I said, after we've been doing this for 200 years, which not exactly, because we've done different ways to vote within those 200 years, but at least in the last 100 years, that it would be more exciting for people to actually feel like, oh, this is something new. I feel like that is more of our societal culture, is that we do embrace new things, but we always kind of throw that out there. Oh no, it's too scary. It's too scary. I mean, I don't think that, I really feel like the general population would really appreciate something new, a new way to vote, because like I said, the low voter turnout, Western New York is like 50th in voter turnout. And it's like, that is so sad. But I know why, because I've been in Buffalo, in the city of Buffalo now for the last 15 years. And every time I vote, I have no choice. In my little district, I have absolutely no choice for so many votes. And so I do appreciate that our Erie County ballots that have a write-in, because when there is not a choice, I like to write my own name in. Because I not necessarily want that other person that's like a shoo-in. Why? I mean, I ran for office in 1993 in Chautauqua County for that exact same reason, because the county legislator in my district was running unopposed for like the second time. And I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. That's not an election. That's not a race if you're the only one in it. So even if people just get that taste of trying to get that position away from the, whoever has held it forever, it encourages then the whole community, because you're out there then encouraging people to vote, and whether they then still end up voting for the incumbent, well, that's their choice. But at least, you can get some, a little bit of excitement about an election, because you actually have a choice.
And I think it activates candidates a little bit more, because like you said, some people are running unopposed for years and they just know they're shoo-in, right? And we saw that happen even with the mayoral election, before this one, where there was a big upset. We just, the person just knew Mayor Brown was going to be it. They were going to be the candidate. And then, oops, India Walton won the primary. Oh no, now we have to do this big write-in campaign, blah, 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 which activated people in a certain way. And then the write-in candidate won, which is like unheard of, right? And so that itself to me kind of proves that people do want more options, or if there was another option, they would choose it or utilize that choice and things like that with proper voter education, because then that write-in campaign was the biggest local voter education campaign I had ever seen. I don't even know if people knew what write-ins were before that campaign happened. And so that was just a really interesting activation in a way that maybe some didn't like the results, but it was an interesting activation and experiment, I would say, on the local level. And I want to clarify that the ranked choice voting campaign that's specifically on the community agenda is for us to implement ranked choice voting in Buffalo or Erie County. So we're not necessarily advocating for the whole statewide. We still like that. We still support that. We still want that to happen. And I think Unite New York's working on that still on our front. And they're a part of the coalition. We very much support them. But sometimes you kind of have to start on the smaller level to like get people to see. And I just feel like if one of the second, I think we're the third now largest municipality behind, it's like New Rochelle or somewhere in Westchester now or something like that. Somebody corrected me the other day on a statewide call, and I was like, oh, well, sorry.
At least spiritually, it's the second largest.
I feel like we're the second largest municipality. I'm like, Westchester, that's like New York City adjacent. Like, you guys don't count as the second. It's like you guys are still the metro area. But anyway, whatever. I'm not getting into the upstate, downstate debate right now. But my point is that if the second other entity in New York State, large influence, had something like this on the local level, what would that impact then be on the statewide? If New York City already has this locally, and then Buffalo had it locally, you have the two largest, kind of politically impacting entities in the state, then how hard is it to then get that state level over the finish line? And so I think that's like our biggest hope for the advocacy we're doing on like trying to push this on the local level. But I think the other fear, locally is, we are a democratically party-led city, and I think people often associate Republicans with kind of gerrymandering or trying to maintain power through different means or different things like that. And so I think one of the worries that me personally I have and fears I have is that, even other established party members may be like, ranked choice voting, I don't know, maybe this is kind of gonna buck the system a little bit too much. I don't know if anybody else wants to speak on that point. I put myself out there and thinking and saying that that's a fear of mine, but I don't know if, David, in your statewide advocacy, if you find no, people are like, no, yeah, we kind of need more options and it's fine, and we don't, we want out of party politics too, or if it's kind of, I don't know, do you feel like it's a both side bipartisan thing of no, maybe we like the two-party thing that we got going on now?
I think that is more how it tends to be. I wouldn't. I don't think there's any sort of worries about a sort of Republican plot.
Yeah.
Given that, I mean, there are examples of Republicans using ranked choice voting. The really only ones that I'm aware of off the top of my head are of Glenn Youngkin in Virginia in 2021. In that election, the Republican primary used ranked choice voting because they wanted to have a broadly palatable candidate advance the general election, which should be a case for Democrats as well, who want to have a broadly palatable person advancing to a general election. That's like a good strategy as a party. And then in Utah, there was a pilot program many years ago that allowed cities to use it, so locally there. But apart from that, it's pretty much Democratic municipalities that are using it. You see, San Francisco, Oakland in the Bay Area. You see Minneapolis, St. Paul around Minnesota, New York City, both Portlands. They're actually using proportional ranked choice voting as of recently, which is very cool. So they have even more representation. So maybe that can be a gold star for them. But yeah, you see a lot of examples of, and there's not particular evidence that there's any sort of Trojan horse going on here.
Well, and then the other thing I want to say is too, because the other thing we've been doing is showing Majority Rules, which is kind of the documentary around the implementation of RCV, specifically in Alaska area, right? And we had a couple of showings in the last few weeks. We had one at UB, we had another one at the Birchfield Penny that's located on Buff State's campus. And so we're going to have more after this. I don't have the dates with me, unfortunately, but make sure you look in the comments and in the description. I'm going to make sure to show, have the rest of our film screenings. If you want to learn what ranked choice voting is, see it in action, see the challenges of implementation, or even the successes and all of those things. Majority Rules is a really interesting documentary portraying that. But I wanted to talk about the film just a little bit because you saw some notable figures in the film, specifically like Sarah Palin's in the film, which people may remember from a throwback from a few election cycles ago. Real big personality and character, but you see the kind of change even once it's implemented of, oh, we have to have a change in strategy here, right? And I thought that was the biggest, I don't know, that was a pivotal part of the movie for me that impacted oh wait, this really can do something. I saw people that, ethically and ideologically and politically I didn't necessarily align with, but then seeing that shift in them, I was like, oh, this is something that can reach anyone, right? And that hit me. I don't know. If
That's a huge aspect we haven't really talked about, is how it does change the incentive for candidates around you needing to get those second and third choice votes. So when you do need to get second and third choice votes, you have to not be a jerk to everyone. You have to say, you have to be like, yes, I understand why you would put that other candidate first before me, but could I have your second place vote? You know, you have to say, oh, maybe I'm of the same party of someone, so put me first and put them second, right? You have to be a little bit more generous of spirit, which I think something we all need in politics.
Absolutely.
So that really has a big impact. I heard from a candidate who was running in Minneapolis where they use it, and they said, you need to know one nice thing about every other candidate, because you need to be able to pull up, you know,
and
which is just not where we're at. Yeah.
That's not where we're at. It's like, no, tear them down. That's it. You know, smear campaign, whatever you can do. But now it's like, oh no, I need to find some common points, because some of the people that like them may, you know, can like me, and we can make this work, right? And it helps us find common ground a little bit more. I just found which is what we should be doing. And so it really, that part of the film just impacted me in such a way, because I'm like, this could be it. This could be what we need. You know?
Yeah. And you can have a case, I mean, you know, thinking about women's representation, there was a cool ad out of Oakland a few years ago where they used ranked choice voting, where they were like cross endorsing. They were saying, you know, hey, I'm this great woman and I'm running for this thing, and here's this other, and they were all introducing each other. And it was like this really like lovely, like kind of, okay, rank us all in your top 3, you know, like so you can sort of be a little bit more flexible at how you're thinking about running in, say, a primary. And, you know, in this Buffalo primary, imagine if you have 2 similar candidates. Right now as a voter, you'd be really frustrated, because you're like, well, I really want to vote for one, but I don't want to hurt the other one. With ranked choice voting, you don't run into that kind of dilemma.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And I just wanted to say, too, I think it is the incumbent politicians that are probably going to be more opposed to it than the general population. The general population is excited about a new way to vote, whereas the people that have been holding power for so long under the old system, of course, they're going to be very hesitant to let it go. But that shouldn't stop us, because this is a government by the people, for the people, and of the people. And so the people need to speak and to be heard. I mean, I think that, you know, a lot of people will say, yeah, I'm not going to vote because my vote doesn't matter. And especially in some of these last elections where, you know, it's a shoo-in, they're going to win, you know, it doesn't matter whether I go and vote or not, it's not going to make a difference until the votes are counted, and then you realize that, oh, shoot, I should have probably gone and cast my ballot, because, you know, my candidate lost by 2 votes, you know, whatever it is. And so I feel like it's a good way to motivate people to vote, and that's part of the education then, is to show how to do it. And that you know, as if I was running for office again, I would appreciate that too. I love the idea of, you know, why aren't candidates working more together? You know, it's the only time that you are supposed to be party is when you're running, because that's the way our system works. But after that, it's supposed to be a collaboration of people working together for the betterment of our country. And if they're just fighting each other and calling each other names, I mean, that I think is the most turn-off thing about any election, is that all you hear from the candidates is how bad the other candidate is, their opposition is. They don't really ever talk about how wonderful they themselves are and what they're going to do for you. They just show pictures and, you know, fake images or whatever of the other person doing something really stupid. And it's like, it just brings down the whole, what is it, the dumbing down of America. I mean, it's like, you know, and so then everybody hates each other. And that's where we are today, and that's how we got here.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Like, I think it pushes people into a corner, right? And then you get that fight or flight response, right? Of like, oh, well, I guess I got to go with this thing, right? And it puts you in a box, and then either you're the extremist on this side or you're the extremist on that side, because both people were like put in the corner, and it's like fight, right? Like Fight Club, and it's nuts. And I listened to a lot of different podcasts doing research for this podcast. And I think the biggest thing that I took away is when, you know, NPR or, you know, Post Reports or the Washington Post and things were interviewing, you know, constituents for the federal election, it was, you know, well, I just feel like I don't have a choice but to choose between these two things, and know that I don't ideologically stand with anything on either side of these things, but I have to choose it. And if I choose one, like, I'm this one bad thing, and if I choose this other thing, then I'm this other bad thing. And I don't know what to do, right? Yeah. And it pushed people in a corner so much, and it just creates absolute chaos. Like, it just creates absolute chaos.
And understandably why people then don't want to go vote. You know, it's like, I mean, I know tabling last summer was, very interesting, ups and downs and backs and forths all summer. But towards the end there, and it's like when we would say, oh, are you registered to vote, or, you got your voting plan? Oh, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. And it's really hard to kind of then draw somebody in and say, well, but you really should, because, it's like, well, yeah, you're right. It's all a mess.
Yeah. It like made me disillusioned. I'm like trying to tell my friends, you should vote anyway. And they're like, why? And then I couldn't come up with good talking points at that point, but I think it really pushes people in a corner in such a way that it's really hard to kind of advocate for true democracy or all of these things that I think we all felt like we believed in at some point. People like talk about the 90s era and even post 9/11 era of us coming together, trying to figure out things, and the election of Obama being so inspirational for a lot of parts of the country and different things like that for different reasons, and that kind of coalescing around someone, it's like it's been impossible to happen because there hasn't. And I blame all the parties of there hasn't been people that they've viably put up that anybody can really believe in a certain way unless you have a certain type of ideology. And that's really hard for people to stomach, I think. And as I heard them, as I said, post reports and people interviewing constituents, they did want more choice, or they did have a candidate that they liked, but they're like, they don't have a shot, because there were other candidates in the election, even on, the Republican side of things for a while. And it was like, well, it doesn't matter if we like this person or not, or if they came out for any one of them, it was like a shit show for them to do that, even for Nikki Haley or some of the other people that were out there. But if we had this system, some of those people wouldn't have, I feel like they wouldn't have felt so cornered in trying to.
Everyone would have a voice. It's like what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
We want your voice. We want our vote to count. Yeah. Every vote to count.
And to that point about politicians coming together, I mean, there's no incentives to do that right now. Right now, your incentive, and that's why Unite New York pushes for open primaries as well, is because people are in their little corners, right? You're in your little corner. You want to nominate someone from that corner, and then you fight, right? But if you had something more like the Alaska system, where you have a open nonpartisan primary, and then people just jump into that, you still have an R and a D and an I and whatever other party signifier, but you have people in that general kind of bucket, and then people are just voting for who they like the best, then you're going to end up with representatives that are most representative of that district, especially if combined with ranked choice voting. So just really ideally democracy would be a distillation of what a particular district wants. But right now it's just not structured that way, and the incentives are all wrong for candidates.
I think some of it too is what our focus being so localized right now. I think focusing on local elections is huge because they are closest to the people. It's hard to imagine a federal level change with ranked choice voting, but I think that if we can get something super localized, even as local as the city of Buffalo, that people will start to realize that this is a good system, especially if a state like New York implements it statewide. I think that could seriously gain traction. New York's a little more populated than Alaska or Maine. So I think that once we can get this system local and get people comfortable with the idea of, more representative democracy, I think that it could lead to large-scale changes. But I think right now, looking local is really, really important.
I think that's so important too. And I think, it really will help people identify more with the candidates that they have choices between. I think for a long time, it's like, if you're from a certain group, oh, well, you're a Democrat, right? You have to be a Democrat because, that aligns with your group and blah, 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 blah. And you get judged if you're not. And right. But, and I think especially me being a young person, at the dinner table as I got to grow up and come from the kids' table. And I was like, well, no, I don't I don't think Obama was perfect. And like my family thought I said something sacrilegious, you know, or whatever. Like it was like one of those things where like, what do you mean? You know, like it was so scary. And so I just like, especially, you know, and I think there's always been people out there who've wanted to like state that different opinion, but it's like you were going to be
it's a nuanced opinion, right? You can have nuance, and we don't have nuance in politics.
That's it.
There is none. Right, and we should. I mean, that is what, to me, politics are all about, is some kind of compromise, you know, and that was always whenever anybody would say anything bad about Obama, I'm like, well, but he's got to compromise, you know. I mean, and that is what our government should be about, is, you know, how do we get the best solution for the most people and include everybody.
Exactly, without feeling like you're sacrificing against one party system or another or anything like that. And I feel like the only reason we feel like we're in those corners is because of our current voting system. Like, no, you can never say anything bad about a Democrat, because then next time it comes around, next time voting comes, we're screwed, or whatever people feel like, right? And then if we had something like this, it's like, okay, it's not that deep. We can be critical. We can be nuanced.
That was my third choice.
You know, like we can just be honest. And we don't have a system right now where we can, you know, not only like work together, but just be honest.
Yeah.
Just be honest with each other.
I don't know if you saw the recent article about Senator Murkowski out of Alaska, who was elected using ranked choice voting. She came forward and said, you know, we're afraid of Trump. She had like this nuanced take on like, I'm a Republican, but we're a little scared, and there's this stuff going on. There's a reason that she was the one to say that. She's the only one of the few senators who has this system that's electing her. Exactly. And so she has the ability to have these nuanced takes that other people just couldn't have.
Exactly. It's like you can't even be critical within your own party or talk about like, no, this is impacting my local constituents in a way that's pretty messed up, and actually I think I have to speak against this, right? And it's like one of those things where maybe they can say it behind closed doors barely, and in the current climate, on either side, it's like you can't say anything because we're going to sacrifice a position of some sort. And it makes people really stuck. And it's just not, it's not what democracy is supposed to be at all.
And that's what's scary, is that, you know, and the fact that, you know, it's I don't know in the whole country or the exact numbers, but it's like a third and a third and a third. A third of people are Republicans, a third are Democrats, and a third are independent. I truly believe in the open primaries. I mean, the fact that, you know, you can only vote for, you know, in a primary if you're in that party, well, then that, when you get to the general, the people that are independents, again, are back to that lesser of two evils. Whereas if a third party could actually have a chance, you know, they might find that Republicans, Democrats might be out the door real fast, which is why they probably won't like this.
In some cases, don't want to scare them too much, but yeah.
Don't scare everybody.
Or they could, you know, or they could change parties too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, but that was, like I said, when I ran, I've always been an independent, but in order to actually even get on a ballot, you have to be either a Democrat or a Republican.
Yeah, even the way we have that set up and the way our primaries are set up. I just want to thank you all for having this conversation with me, because I think this is a lot of things people are thinking. Maybe they have the, you know, conversation in their dinner parties, in their friend groups, in their group chats, but we're not able to have these conversations out loud for the many plethora of reasons that we talked about today. And so I'm happy that even just in discussing ranked choice voting, we're able to have a more nuanced conversation just in talking about it. So I can only imagine what society would be like if we implemented it, right? So thank you all once again, David, Lori,
Could I say one more statistic before we go?
Please, yeah.
I just wanted to say that in New York City, in the 2021 race, the city council, when it used ranked choice voting, went from 27% women to 61% women, and it went from half people of color to 2/3 people of color. And that both of those numbers much better represent the population. So if we just want a representative democracy, this might be a good option.
Excellent.
How else we can end? But on that note, I'm so excited to have talked about this. I'm really excited for this to air on the radio station, for us to get this online so that our viewers can be more informed about there are other systems and things that exist in the world that we can be doing rather than just what we're doing right now, and how can we be reimagining our society to be more democratic, to be more representative, and to be more nuanced. I'm really excited we had this conversation today on The Public Good. This has been Deja James with Partnership for the Public Good, or PPG, representing over 380 partner organizations trying to make a better Buffalo, Niagara, and country and world. And we're so excited to have had you listen. We're here every Tuesday at 11 a.m. On podcast, YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you can get your podcast. So please listen. Please like and subscribe to this video. Send us some comments, send us some questions if you have any thoughts about ranked choice voting or any other past episodes. We're so excited to have had you join us, and thank you for listening. Signing off. Hello and welcome to The Public Good. I am Deja James from Partnership for the Public Good, or a think tank that is bringing together over 380 now. Can I say that now? 380 partner organizations to make a better Western New York. We are a think tank that does policy, advocacy, and research work, as well as advocacy technical support for local organizations as big as service providers and as small as grassroots block clubs and community groups. And we are all making an agenda, which is what we're here to talk today, to prioritize our policy agenda for the year of 2025. So we just went through that process. I had a couple of sneak previews for you all with Treatment Not Jails, and you saw a couple of others, Eastside Parkways Coalition, but we're going to talk in depth a little bit about the community agenda process for those of you who may watch just the podcast or may not know what the community agenda process is. So I'm so excited to have my executive director here with me, Andrea O'Sullivan, to talk about the community agenda process, kind of its origins and where it came from. But first, can you introduce yourself, Andrea, and let everybody know where you came from?
Absolutely. Thanks, Deja. It's great to return to The Public Good with you hosting. And yes, I am a public interest lawyer by background. I grew up in Western New York. I moved away for over 10 years and worked in public interest law, very similar to what we do at PPG in strengthening community voices and their power in decision making, which I was doing in New York City and international communities, and then came back to Buffalo almost 10 years ago and joined Partnership for the Public Good.
Yeah, and I think we were in a meeting just yesterday, and you mentioned how there was kind of this grassroots community building, advocacy space building up in Western New York, and there really wasn't a centralized place to kind of bring together resources, bring together information, bring together strategy. And PPG really came together as that hub, which is what made me so excited to have the opportunity to be here. But we're 17 years old this year, that's pretty, our 20th is going to come up sooner than later.
It will be soon.
Yeah.
And so, as you said, yes, PPG was really created to be the research advocacy arm of a whole collection of grassroots, community-based nonprofit organizations, block clubs, neighborhood efforts. And we were really founded on that principle that at the neighborhood level, everyday people know what works. For decades in Buffalo and across the country, governments have not provided all the services that they were supposed to everyday people, sometimes because of discrimination and exclusion, sometimes just because of institutions failing us. And so at that time, almost 20 years ago in Buffalo, community-led groups were starting to buy abandoned homes and renovate them for affordable housing, buy vacant lots, which you could do for pennies compared to what you can do today in Buffalo, and turn those into community gardens, turn them into really needed green space, use them for strong environmental purposes. And a number of those groups came together, as you said, and said, what we really need is to say what we're doing at the neighborhood level works, but there are some policies that are getting in our way that we need to get rid of, and there are some policies that would advance and help us grow this work that we need to fight for. And so a circle of folks created PPG to do that, and it's really steadily grown ever since to the 380 partners that you mentioned now.
It's absolutely amazing how much it's grown. And I'm wondering if the community agenda process, because I know how it currently, the current iteration looks, but for the entire 17 years, has it been kind of that same type of model, or has it evolved at all? Or how was the original community agenda process as it was kind of conceptualized?
Yeah, it's had the democratic principles from the beginning. So for listeners that don't know, our community agenda process puts out a call to all of our partners each year, bring to PPG the one policy change you would like to see at the city, county, or state level that would advance our collective mission of a more just, sustainable, and culturally vibrant Buffalo Niagara. And it's not, one partner bringing us idea, one partner bringing an idea. It's groups and collectives and working groups. So sometimes there are 5 partners coming and saying we need to amend policing in this way in Buffalo. Sometimes there's 40 partners who are already part of a large coalition like the Good Food Buffalo Coalition saying we need to change how we use our public dollars when it comes to food purchasing for schools and institutions. So it represents a lot of organizations involved. In the early days, they still did that process, bring ideas, and ultimately partners take a vote. They grouped things a little bit more than like group 3 ways to change economic development, 3 ways to advance equity, 3 ways to do something else. And we don't do that anymore. We just say, here's our top 10. Let's run down the list.
Yeah.
But it really hasn't changed. It's, again, this idea that the community of folks that are supporting their neighbors every day, then the community of nonprofit folks that are seeing what's happening in eviction court every day, or what are the barriers to people accessing the social services that they're entitled to, right? Those are some of our partners that come and tell us these are worrying trends we're seeing, these are barriers that people are facing, and those are things we need to advocate around.
Yeah, and I think the evolution, even on like the year to year, what level of government has more ask or more policy pitches is really interesting, because I know when I first came 2 years ago, I think there were more state planks than anything. And this year there's so many city-based planks and policy ask, which may have to do with the mayoral election, just the kind of focus on city government. And I'm wondering how much those ebbs and flows of politics influence kind of what level of government people are targeting or what they're looking at or thinking about when they're coming with these policy ideas. And you talked about how it's never really just one partner coming with an idea, it's multiple. And that's really integral to the work of each plank, because you really can't do advocacy without a coalition of people. It takes a lot of influence and meetings and public education, and not everybody can be doing everything all at once. So I love how our partners are able to kind of split those responsibilities really almost naturally. I don't think we help much with that part sometimes. But this year, like I said, we have a lot of city-based planks. So I just think that that's interesting with our, the current state of politics.
It's a moment. And I think that does all ebb and flow. There are times when we have had many city planks, and then there are times when groups have had to do some really tough taking stock and say, we have asked for this affordable housing policy for 4 years on the city level, and maybe it's just not going to happen in this particular city hall. But then they'll say, you know what, let's go get Albany and the state legislature to pass it, and then Buffalo will have to be part of it, right? So sometimes things like fair housing, things like certain police reforms, it's too difficult to get them in certain political cultures, so you shift and try somewhere else. I know we've both been part of advocating for language access, which has had 2 fronts at once. Try to get it in Erie County, which we did and won, and there are still other pieces of that can be won at the state level. So that's definitely part of the strategy. And I think a big part of our work, and what we hear from a lot of our partners too, is that folks will come and say, I can't believe the city of Buffalo isn't doing this about health disparities. And then it's our role to kind of map what are the powers of different levels of government. And in that case, say, well, the city of Buffalo doesn't have a health department, but the county does. So we probably need to take that idea to them. And that's why outside of the community agenda, the broader civic education work that we do and opening up these discussions to residents beyond our partner network are so important as well, so that people know, where can I go with this solution that I have in mind, or this issue that I think is the most important to address. And there's a lot of frustration if you go to one government level, but they can't actually do anything about your issue. And sometimes that's just true. So that's all part of the early strategy we do with these community agenda groups too. We definitely have some policy plank ideas come in, and they are addressed to the wrong level of government, and we'll work together to find where is the right place to direct that.
Absolutely. I think there definitely are some community members like, I don't even know where to start with. I just know this is the issue. How do I find a solution? And we've definitely helped people who have approached us and saying, well, you could do something here with the county, or this is a state thing, or figuring it out. And so I love that PPG is a resource in that way too, to help empower people to know how to address issues that they're facing as well, even if you don't necessarily know where to start. But we had a whole lot as like the biggest agenda we've had ever this past year in 2024, the process to make our 2025 agenda. So I want to delve into where we landed this year because it really was just a really diverse group of different issues that came this year. And they're all really critically important in like this political moment in time. So, and I think there's some major themes that remain, like housing always is kind of a major thread, especially. But let's talk a little bit about what got onto the agenda this year. So do you want to start us off possibly with our number one slot this year on the community agenda? And for those who don't know, we usually have 10 slots. Sometimes there's ties, so we'll get an 11 in there or something like that. But this year we have a rounded 10. So we're excited about that. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And as Deja said, we had a really large group turnout, over 130 organizations and 185 people out of our partnership come to vote for this year's agenda. Each partner organization gets to cast just 5 votes. So you get 1 rep per organization to put this democratic agenda together. And number one is really a generational issue. We had representatives of the Eastside Parkways Coalition come and pitch their call to restore Olmsted's Humboldt Parkway and restore Delaware Park by removing the Kensington and Scajaquada expressways. So a big vision of highway removal in Buffalo for health equity, for community safety, for revitalizing businesses and neighborhoods. And that got the top spot with the most vote from among our partner organizations. And again, that's Eastside Parkways Coalition leading it, with Citizens for Regional Transit, with the Western New York Youth Climate Council. They're in the media a lot with this fight. They have filed lawsuits. They're pursuing this at the state level. They came to PPG to say, so far, city officials have said, this is just not our issue because it's a New York State Department of Transportation plan, what is currently proposed for the Kensington. And they have said, that's not good enough. This is our city. You are our city elected officials. And this is a decision that is going to affect the health of generations and the future of a neighborhood for generations. And so they would like to work with our full partnership to go again to city government and say, stand with us. Let's speak up for what we deserve. We've seen highway removal in similar cities to wonderful amounts of investment and revitalization and restoring of neighborhoods. And why not do the same thing here? So that's going to be a big one to dive into this year.
It is. And I want to clarify, too, the reason why we're especially focusing on the resolution with the Buffalo Common Council is when you approach PPG for a pitch, it does have to be something that's achievable within a year's time. And so sometimes that is one step in the larger picture, right? Like obviously fully restoring Humboldt Parkway and Delaware Park is a larger picture, years long issue, but there are small steps that we can be taking, or stands rather in this case, that we can be taking either for or against certain initiatives that may or may not be currently happening on other levels of government. And so we've had Eastside Parkways Coalition on. If you haven't seen it, please check out the episode. It's on our YouTube page as well, and Apple, Spotify podcasts and all of that. But they really comprehensively overview the, generational, as Andrea said, impact that this highway has had, and the differential outcomes that people who are still, living by maintained Olmsted Parkway systems versus this vehicular sewer, as Sherry Sherrill so, well put the situation. So we're, so happy to be working with them this year, and we're hoping that to their point that we can get our local elected officials to kind of take some type of stance of some sort on this issue. So I'm gonna move forward, and I'll do number 2, I guess. We also, and we've worked on this for a few years, Andrea, but we're really excited because last year, Community Responders Coalition was able to get some state funding, $100,000, if I'm correct, to pilot a community responder program right here in Western New York, in Buffalo, in the inner city, in the Cold Springs, I believe, neighborhood. They're still canvassing. They're still getting community feedback sessions. As we're taping this right now, they had one this previous Saturday in January, and they're continually, interacting with community to figure out how can we be reimagining responses or emergency response that don't necessarily need police intervention. And so how can a community responder team, these models are all over, I think there's hundreds across the country at this point. And so we're just trying to pilot one here so that we can then grow it further. Both of our colleague, Colleen Kirstich, who's a senior community researcher here with PPG, has been working on this issue for years now at this point. And we're really excited to be at the point where they're actually creating this pilot program so we can see it in action, see it in our communities, and see how beneficial it can be. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add for community responders.
Just that data analysis by the coalition found that about 92% of 911 calls to Buffalo police are for nonviolent and non-criminal matters. So no potential crime involved whatsoever. It's interesting when you look at their numbers, which is all in a report on our website, 5% of all 911 calls are that an alarm is ringing nearby. And I think 4% are that a pet is lost. Those are not the priorities we would want to send this team to, but it shows how much does not require a policing-based approach where we're worried about violence in the mix. So these are new types of first responders for nonviolent, non-criminal calls that would take a more social work and healthcare approach to meeting social needs. Yeah. So when a 911 call is really about someone that has nowhere to go, someone that's experiencing a mental health moment, someone that is in need of food, hygiene, basic needs supplies, this team would come and meet those needs in a more care-based way.
Absolutely. And some teams even do have paramedics on that community responder team along with mental health professionals. So it wouldn't be that, there were no professionals on scene if somebody is having a medical emergency or things of that nature. It just would be that we're not necessarily trying to approach it in a criminal based way.
And a huge way to save police time for what is really needed. Save police time for high intensity calls where there is a potential crime, where there is something going on, where you would want a police response.
Absolutely. And I want to say that that's really important. I got into a car accident last summer and I called the police and it was at 6 p.m. and they did not call me back until 11 p.m. that night and asked me if I was still on the scene. And of course I was not anymore. And thankfully nobody was severely hurt, but I couldn't file a police report for my insurance company because they were inundated with calls. And, with the data that we have, we know that statistically a large majority of those calls, were